national plastic surgeon. Only I would say the most influential person in footwear right now. Just talk to me like I'm a 4-year-old. The ultimate goal is to be like water. I see stuff from the future. I'm such a like a futurist. I went to art college. You ain't been to any education. I am the #1 most impactful artist of our generation. I am Shakespeare in the flesh. I'm so frustrated. Walt Disney, Nike, Google. You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers. When you don't feel like playing with a cat, that's racism. It's like a bouncing ball in a room with 2 cats, or something. That's racism. Like I was a gifted artist since age 5, and like in national competitions, and went to art school. I'm naturally getting an honorary doctorate from the Art Institute of Chicago. So, have y'all ever seen Wreck-It Ralph? It's in my code. It's in my code. I am Wreck-It Ralph. It's in my code. It's in my code.
Everybody says, who does he think he is? I just told you who I thought I was. A guy.
Please welcome the Democratic nominee for president, Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris.
We're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back.
I'm feeling fired up. I am feeling ready to go.
Hope is making a comeback.
We're not going back.
We the people have to make a decision.
It is time to get up. Get up. This will still be a tight race.
We're not going back.
We need you to beat Donald Trump.
Let's send Kamala Harris and Tim to the White House.
You got it, man.
We're not going back. Hey, everybody get your hands up. Hey, everybody get your hands up. Hey, everybody get your hands up. Now, say, we're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back.
Donald Trump is an unserious man.
This weird obsession with crowd sizes.
Do you want to spend the next 4 years talking about crowd
We're
size?
not going back. Now,
Who's gonna tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
We know that Donald Trump would sell this country for $1.
Donald Trump rants about law and order as if he wasn't a convicted criminal running against a prosecutor.
This uncircumcised Philistine.
Who does he think he is?
hey, everybody get your hands up. Hey, everybody get your hands up. Hey, everybody get your hands up. Now, say, we're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back.
Okay, let's get to business. I accept your nomination. I promise to be a president for all Americans.
Even if we wouldn't make those same choices for ourselves, we've got a golden rule. Mind your own damn business.
Let's fight for it. Let's get out there. Let's vote for it. And together, let us write the next great chapter. Don't just sit around and complain. Do something.
Yeah!
Do something about it. Do something. If they lie about her,
a YouTube channel, do it right now. Do it today. And all you have to do is click the big red subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Woo!
Hi, it's Fitz with slap chop 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 chop. Hi, it's Fitz with slap chop. You're gonna be in a great mood all day, 'cause you're gonna slapping your troubles away with a slap, slapping your troubles away with a slap chop. Hi, it's Fitz with slap chop. You're gonna be in a great mood all day, 'cause you're gonna slapping your troubles away with a slap, slapping your troubles away with a slap chop. Look, here's a potato. One slap, you get big chunks for the stew. Two slaps, don't rise. The second man, look at this. With your add a mushroom, the more you do it, the finer it gets. What's rich in brains? Now, you love salad. You hate making it. You know you hate making salad. You hate making it. So we don't have any salad in your diet. Watch this one slap salad. A soup, coleslaw, stuff. In what, 5 seconds? 4 or 5 seconds, it's done. This thing is tuna. Looks boring. Stop having a boring tuna. Stop having a boring life. Add this tuna. Make it like this. Now you're gonna have a nice, exciting life. Here's a hard-boiled egg. One chunk of pickle. You add the green. And what you can do, you can mix things together. You add ham. And you're gonna love this. You don't have time to make breakfast. Breakfast to go. Watch this, you're gonna love my nuts. Watch this, you're gonna love my nuts. Watch this, you're gonna watch this. You're gonna watch this. Watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. Sort of my fruit, fruit mango. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Look at this, is that beautiful ice cream? The reason you're gonna slap away every day is because it's so easy to clean. 1, 2, and pops open like that. Now these other ones you've seen in the stores, bacteria gets in the food. All the stores have this. You can't clean it. You can't open this up. It's worthless. Forget about it. Now take the slap chop, put it back together. Put the slap chop right there. Let's put the slap chop right there. Let's put the slap chop right there. Let's put the slap chop right there. The skin's at the bottom. 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 The skin comes right off. 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 Now put a tomato in there. Add your cilantro, your hot peppers right there. You can hit it like this. Hit it like this. Hit it like this. Hit it like this. Guys, we're gonna make America ski again. One slap at a time. It's guys, we're gonna make America ski again. One slap at a time. It's guys, we're one ski again. One slap at a one slap at a time. We're one ski again. One slap at a one slap at a time. We're one ski again. One slap at a one slap at a time. We're guys, we're one slap at a tap at a slap 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 slap. Lions face with slap chop. You're gonna be in a great mood all day. You're gonna slapping your troubles away with a slap. Slapping your troubles away with a slap chop. Lions face with slap chop. You're gonna be in a great mood all day. You're gonna slapping your troubles away with a slap. Slapping your troubles away with a slap chop.
It's easy. You just got one hand and chop, 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 chop.
Watch this. Tacos, fettuccine, linguine, martini, bikini.
The government filled with a bunch of reptiles and a bunch of pedophiles. Side check. We all know never make it to a trial with trafficking a child. Side check. You don't want to be scrutinized in the government or you'll be suicided. You and I both know all the truth to hide when they're using Biden. Fact check. The CIA killed MLK and JFK both. Fact check. The moon landing wasn't real, it was all a hoax. Fact check. Big Pharma putting profits over every single damn patient. Fact check. We all know that birds ain't real, they're just government surveillance. Fact check. Rap labels been profiting off of the prison system and jails. Fact check. We all breathe in chemicals every single day from chemtrails. Fact check. Everybody know Michelle Obama was a man and never was pregnant. Fact check. We all know that Barack Obama was really born out in Kenya. Fact check. Who decides what is real and what is cap? Who decides what is fake and what is fact? They censor someone that you hate and then you clap. But they're coming for you next. It's a trap. Who decides what is real and what is cap? Who decides what is fake and what is fact? They censor someone that you hate and then you clap. But they're coming for you next. It's a trap. Come on, man, the earth is flat. It's not round. Bush knew them towers were gonna get knocked down. I'll be right with just about everything I said. Tupac alive in Cuba, man, he isn't dead. We've been overseas killing kids with Crohn's. MK Ultra failed, Kanye West a clone. Fact check. The government spying on you in your home. Fact check. They tracking all of us on every single phone. Fact check. Humans didn't build the pyramids. Fact check. Men cannot get a period. Fact check. The left just wants to eliminate all borders. Fact check. This whole agenda is support the new world order. Fact check. Who decides what is real and what is cap? Who decides what is fake and what is fact? They censor someone that you hate and then you clap. But they're coming for you next. It's a trap. Who decides what is real and what is cap? Who decides what is fake and what is fact? They censor someone that you hate and then you clap. But they're coming for you next. It's a trap.
Beta.
You are a lesbian.
Lesbian.
Don't you like that word? Lesbian.
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 Don't you like that word? Lesbian.
Lesbian. Lesbian. Lesbian. Lesbian. Lesbian. Lesbian. Lesbian.
You are a lesbian.
Lesbian.
Don't you like that word? Lesbian.
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 Don't you like that word? Lesbian.
Lesbian. Lesbian. Lesbian. Lesbian. Lesbian. Lesbian. Lesbian.
I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit. And,
Okay. First, fuck Big Mike and that dick that hang. West Palm, nigga, Mar-a-Lago, wish the gang. Locked up, tons of black fathers, that's a fact. I'll let Joe Biden say it though.
You ain't black.
Give it up, pack it in, sick of the cackling. Taking these around balls, way before Kaepernick. Locked them ever marijuana, you imprisoned them. You were smoking weed at the time, what a hypocrite. Montel Williams and Willie Brown. Guess you have a thing for Willies, bet your dad's really proud. A crisis at your border, ignoring the reporters. Under you and Biden, $1 was worth a quarter. The new world order really wants you in, but it's 2024, we're about to win. Bigly, usually, trust me, I would know it. I still can't believe you believe Jussie Smollett. I'm meeting with rabbis, pastors, preachers, cops, firefighters, God-fearing believers. You're meeting with RuPaul, transgender teachers, creatures, cutting off their primary features. I'm working for God, you work for the Grim Reaper. On Soros's payroll, they should call you Caesar, cause every time you speak, it's a big word salad. I heard in college guys called you hot to a Harris. They try to do me like JFK in the drop top. The party of defunded police loves the top cop. You give his laptop, Kamala Lewinsky. When you talk in public, you always sound tipsy. You make Pelosi sound like Einstein. Not a worthy opponent, but I guess I'll find time. Your bottom shelf Chardonnay, me, I'm fine wine. Look at California, you and Gavin cannot fight crime. Bailed out rioters during BLM, then a few that murdered people wasn't shown on CNN. But I'm not surprised, that's just the fake news. And we all know that they pay you, I stay true.
We did it, Joe. You're gonna be the next president of the United States.
Worst day of my life.
Hold on. Why did it do that? Okay, it doesn't go full screen. It's just gay.
Worst day of my life. And it's not really what most people think it is, but it kind of is. So they gave us this stuff called Provigil, government issued speed, like for soft guys. So sun's coming up, getting ready to come up, and it's like, about to be Taliban time, right? And I'm freaking pop one of them jokers. And within 10 minutes, I had to my brains out. Sun's starting to come up. I'm like, dude, I gotta get this done like right now. And we're in this freaking ditch. Plates on, Cobra hood, skillied up. You know, like guys from Nam are like, you've never lived until you like been in an ambush position. You pissed yourself and yourself. Well, guess what? Old Coop found out what the deal was on that day. Rolled to the side a little bit. pull my pants down, just blow mud all over the ditch. I mean, it's like running down my cheeks, pull my wipes out, wipe my freaking keister, kick a little dirt over it, and now I'm just pissy. So we just sat there in the blazing hot sun all day. Myself, and we didn't even get to kill anybody. Do you know what? That's why it's a terrible day. Worst day of my life, and it's not really what most people.
Oh my
He's
God.
snaking the target with the islet.
I'm sorry. I keep fucking it up. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Jesus Christ. That was so rough.
It was so good, though. It was so good. I was watching that at work, and I was trying so hard not to bust out laughing like that. Old Coop found out that day. Welcome to the show, everybody. We got the debate night stream with us tonight. We got our guest, Jake Green. He is the host of Liberty Libations. I don't know if you're like the CEO or like what you are of Peaceful. You tell everybody who you are so I don't fuck it up.
Yeah, I own Peaceful Sea Productions and Peaceful Sea Network, which is basically a network of podcasts and movies and documentaries dedicated to kind of spreading the way of liberty values, I guess. Kind of promotes individual rights, self-ownership, self-sustaining, like self-reliance, that kind of thing. And we just actually launched our newest show today. The teaser came out for it. So it's called The Cascade Effect, and it's about police brutality in Cascade County, Montana.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah. Yeah, no, I came across your stream during the LNC whole thing. You guys did a little bit of coverage on that. I saw that you guys too partake in a drinking tradition on your show. So we have a 2-drink minimum, like I told you over the thing. We're gonna go around. You said you're drinking tonight. What are you drinking?
Got an old fashioned.
There you go. All right, you're definitely gonna get drunk tonight. Josh, Josh, let's start with you.
Got the king of beers back for another round here. We're going long tonight. I already know it.
All right, there we go. Mitch, what do you got?
Tonight I am embracing my German roots with Weinsteiner.
Okay, there we go. Mitch is back on the wagon. All right, Rob, what do you got?
Shit.
For occasion.
He is back on the wagon. I have these brand new Minute Maid drinks. Yeah.
That sounds awful, dude.
Yay!
Hey, they were given to me free. So this is free alcohol right here. This is good. This is good. This is what good stuff looks like.
Yeah, free makes up for it.
Free makes up for it.
I am drinking. I spent like too long in the thing today looking for what I was going to drink. So I got Whistle Pig Piggyback. You can't read the label, but Whistle Pig Piggyback.
Oh, okay.
I just like saying it. I don't know if it's any good or not. But
Whistle Pig Winnieback. God damn it.
Yeah. If you got any recommendations, Jake, for some bourbon or whiskey, I'm interested to try all of them. These are the drinking rules that we have for tonight. We posted it up on X. We put it in our Discord. Links down below for everybody if you want to follow along and all that stuff. But basically, these are the rules that we're going to go by. And we even, Rob wasn't here for this, so this will be a surprise for him too. But every time one of these things happen, we have a cool sound effect. So anytime Trump says China, and get drunk.
China.
Yeah, there we go. So we got Trump says China. If Kamala cackles, any references to Bidenomics or Project 2025, we're going to be drinking for those as well. Definitely going to come up. No, we will. We also have common sense gun control because there was a shooting up here in Georgia. Jake, you're in Georgia too, ain't you?
Normally, right now I'm in Montana.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah. So we got common sense gun control because, that's going to come up now. Any references to migrant crime, because that's a big Trump issue. So I'm sure he's going to try to bring it up. If Trump uses a nickname, it doesn't have to be Kamala's nickname. I don't think she has one yet. Have you guys heard one that he's given Kamala yet? Cackling Kamala, crazy Kamala. It could be Kamala. I haven't heard him say any of those things yet. But if
I haven't either.
No. Yeah.
I like to call her kind of hot Kamala. She makes my dick kind of go, I'm not sure.
There you go. Yeah, no.
Rob, you're really starting to get good with that, by the way.
Yeah. It takes a lot of practice.
Let me see. If Trump uses anybody's nickname, any reference to Donald Trump as a felon or Kamala as a cop or prosecutor, the felon versus the cop narrative, we're going to be drinking for that as well. If one of them tries to dodge the question, which is definitely going to happen, we will be drinking.
That's going to be every friggin' question, Tim.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It's gonna be
I
good.
was like, I don't know why we did this, but I guess we're just getting drunk tonight.
If they dodge the question, what are we gonna, dude? What are you talking about?
They're only gonna ask
the whole thing.
They're gonna ask like 20 questions, and we're gonna drink all 20 times.
Yay! Yeah!
Yeah, just get
I don't know.
And then the other one was references assassination. The original one was assassination attempt. And Brandy looked at that and she's like, if somebody tries to assassinate them tonight, like you guys have to finish your drinks. And I was like, oh yeah, that's true.
So I'm just gonna let you guys know I have these tiny little drinks. So if I have to finish my drink, it's kind of cheating. I might have to.
So you're on a 4-drink minimum.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I think. 4-drink minimum, fine. I'm just doing Scouts honor. I'm just letting you guys know that these, my hands are small. This is not a regular size can. This is a small can that looks like a regular can in my small hand.
There you go. And then we have the bonus as well. If anyone mentions Haitians eating pets, finish your drink. Whatever you got in your hand at that time, it's over. I don't know how the debate proceeds at that point, but it's going to be a good one. So what do you think? Are you guys ready for this?
I think you might be having a little bit of robot AIDS. I'm not sure if that's just me, but you might be having a little bit of robot AIDS.
Are you guys good? You hear me good?
Yeah, I hear you good. I'm ready to
better.
go.
Okay, it might be me then. I might have robot AIDS.
Commenting on the rules, though, I just want to say I feel like references to the assassination will be balanced out as compared to dodging the question. Because I feel like with references to the assassination, we're not going to see that many of that.
Yeah.
If even at all.
They might mention it like in the beginning or something, like one time. I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one that if it is mentioned, it's at least once.
Yeah. The rest.
I was watching the Baywatch commercial.
I'm distracted.
I was seeing those titties too.
The rest of them are gonna kill us. All right, so
Wait, are we doing the wood game? Wood not.
Well, I mean, there's only like 5 people on stage. Are you just doing the commercials?
I think we're just doing the commercials. Yeah, we don't give a fuck about that other corner.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's no crowd. Yeah, that's right. There's no fucking crowd.
Also, I love how they're doing commercials for politics, kind of like it is done in like sports.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Picture in picture.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They've got it over here off to the side.
Yeah. It's kind of WWE does that shit too.
Yeah, they got 7. So Jake, 17 minutes till the debate. What do you expect to see? What are you looking forward to, et cetera, et cetera?
Oh man. I have actually not thought about this debate a single bit today.
Good job.
I try not to let this affect my everyday life. So I'm expecting no one to actually answer any questions in any real sense of answering a question.
Yeah.
Are they muting mics today? Or are those
yes?
Yes.
Mics are muted. Yeah,
that's what they're probably talking about right now.
So yeah, there's no talking over each other. There's none of that. Like it's going to be.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, the Biden-Trump one where they muted all the talking was frustrating because it's far funnier when Trump can just yell over his opponent.
Right.
So I don't know what's going to happen here. One's going to laugh maniacally and one's just going to try to talk over the laughing. I don't really know.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Kamala do a good debate or like a real debate in general. So I don't really know what to expect here.
It was surprising. I was watching MSNBC in the lead up to this, just to see what the coverage was, and they kept playing the clip of Tulsi wrecking the shit out of Kamala. Like that was they played it like 5 times in the last 3 hours. Yeah. So
there have been rumors that Donald Trump was getting coached by Tulsi.
That's not rumors. That's confirmed.
That's confirmed.
Yeah.
She got off the plane with him. What are you talking about? Her and Matt Gaetz.
Hey, these Minute Maids. These Minute Maids are packing a little bit. They're packing a little bit.
He's getting
hey, 13.9% there. 13.9. Hey,
that's not bad.
Not bad for a little can, dude.
Yeah,
that's what she
said. Just had to let y'all know.
He said size don't matter.
Well, since you bogarted the thing, what's your take, Rob?
I'm I'm with Jake on this. Do not give a flying fuck about this debate. It's not going to affect me at all, besides how drunk I get. So that's my take.
Yeah.
I think Kamala's going to do terrible. I think Trump is not as good at debating as he once was. So we'll see. He hasn't excited me a whole lot recently. Don't really care. Just here for the fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Mitch, we'll go Mitch and Josh. Yeah. Mitch.
I've already said a lot here, so I'll just say that I feel like we're never going to get a 2016 debate with Trump ever again. Like, that was glorious. Say what you will about Trump, that was glorious when he brought out all those
you'd
women.
be in jail. Yeah.
Dude, everything about it was great. Like,
Yeah.
in 2020, I was hoping he was going to bring the stripper that Hunter had knocked up, but that didn't happen. So we're never going to get anything that great ever again. So that's all I can really say.
Do we get Kamala going, you should be in jail to Trump now? Is that, does she try to
Ooh.
reverse the tables a little
Call
bit?
back. Yeah.
Call
maybe.
back.
Yeah, maybe.
Then it would have to be scripted. Like
Yeah.
then this entire thing, like life is scripted, man.
At that
There's a
point,
callback to that.
Yeah.
Is everyone else streams going smoothly? I might have to reset.
Yeah, you try to reset. Jake's camera pauses every once in a while, but it comes right back. So
All right. I'm gonna reset. I'm gonna hop.
he's in
back out
Montana.
and
It's
back in.
understandable.
I'm on Starlink internet right now in the middle of nowhere.
There you
so
go.
that's probably why.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Sponsored by Elon. Go ahead, Josh. Where do you think we're at?
I think Rob needs to reset his Walmart connection internet real quick. But I mean, honestly, outside of like knowing I was coming on here today, these debates don't really mean anything to me. I got my big bag of popcorn here because I know it's going to be entertaining. There's going to be some bullshit said. I kind of agree with Rob. Trump debates have not been as entertaining as they were in 2016 and to a lesser extent in 2020. Maybe something interesting will happen, but like these shits between the mics being muted and everything being so controlled now, like it's just not as much fun. Like you don't see him using any of the nicknames anymore. He's gotten a lot more like nicey nice and like politically correct almost. So it's like I miss the Donald Trump that you didn't know what to expect with him. He was just a wild card every night. He's going to come out. Right. He was going to say some shit. Maybe it was going to shock and awe you. Maybe it was going to not surprise you, but it was going to be entertaining regardless.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It was it's definitely different. Why do you think it is that Trump is not as hardcore? Do you think the format prevents him, or do you think something's changed with Trump? He's just getting old and slow.
No, I think when they circled back around and did their after action reviews in 2020, a lot of what they probably hit Trump with was that outside of the election getting stolen, your like image or like your polling for like your personal image was probably down because people saw you as being too gruff and too abrasive. So
Yeah.
he's trying to be tough without being like sophomoric almost. Like he's realizing this isn't WWE and, using all of The Rock's kitschy catchphrases, while it's going to get people to cheer, it's not going to get people to vote.
I also think things changed after his assassination attempt. Like I just think he's
That's
gotten
what
a
I was
lot
thinking,
quieter
too.
in interviews. Like he's far more melancholy and there's no ups and downs. It's just all like single plain, like boring interviews these days. Like I don't know what, I'm sure getting shot at and almost killed by a matter of inches will mess with your head, even if you are Donald Trump. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping, is that he'd come away from it with like, a more, not reasonable, but just like a more like, I don't know, a better outlook on things. Yeah.
I'm shocked he didn't walk away from it thinking he's actually God. Like,
Yeah. They could have went the other way too. That's kind of what we were watching for the RNC, and instead what we got was like an hour and a half snooze fest from him. I was expecting like more energy and hype.
I mean, because that was the week after. I think we were all just amazed that he went an hour and 40 something minutes on that speech.
Yeah.
I think
It
we
was
were all
too
just
damn
kind of
long.
amazed that he did that. It was too damn long. Yeah, speech too damn long. But at the same time, like I wouldn't call it a snooze fest. I was like, look at this motherfucker. He's going. So I don't know. I think Jake's right. I think he has been a little bit more like even keel,
Mhm.
and I don't like it.
Do you think that benefits him or hurts him?
No, it hurts him. I think he needs to go at the throats, get at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost as though he's lost the urge to go in for the kill, so to speak. Like that's almost the vibe it gives off.
He definitely doesn't have that killer instinct anymore. Like in 2016, he was just going out and just eviscerating people. Like if any of you guys ever watched UFC, it was watching Khabib just go into a cage and just like you knew what the plan was. You were just gonna watch somebody get mauled until they either tapped out or got choked out. And
Bro, he
Jake's laughing 'cause
decimated Rand Paul. Like I love Rand, but my God, he made Rand his bitch.
Yes, he was the Khabib of politics in 2016. You knew, okay, Bell's going to ring. He's going to go in there. He might beat you up a little bit, but you eventually he's going to jump on top of you. He's going to drag your ass to the ground. Either you're going to get tapped out or choked out. That was your choice. That was Trump in 2016. Trump in 2020 is like Conor McGregor. He talks a big game and then he goes in and, you know, maybe he'll win. Maybe he'll get his ankle broken. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Khabib.
I think it's going to be a
Russian
little.
machine does not break.
I think
By
it's
the
going to
way,
be. Yeah, go ahead.
I've been gone. We talked about Connor running for president of Ireland, right?
No, not really, because we
No.
care about
Oh.
America.
Yeah,
We use it as a
America
joke like
first.
this. Yeah, that's right. We didn't
Be
play that
America
song
first,
tonight.
but my God, the world is a stage.
The Trump who stalked Hillary on stage has been unseen so far. Yeah. I think like this one, like the one with Biden, all the talk was like, can Biden even stand up for 2 hours? And then all Biden had to do was be somewhat coherent, and people would have walked away from that saying, well, he did better than expected. And now this time, like, I don't know what people are expecting. I was surprised to see MSNBC play 5 times in 3 hours, her getting wrecked by Tulsi Gabbard. Like, are people looking for her to get wrecked? Like, I think the narrative of that, like, she doesn't do interviews, she doesn't talk to people. I think that's really starting to catch up with her, even from her own side. Like, you need to handle this pushback. You need to, like, they were given the criticism they were giving her is she is not battle tested. She is not ready for this. Donald Trump is an experienced warrior, and she's a slave fresh off the boat. They didn't say that. I said that, but you know, Hey, speaking of Krispy Kreme,
They didn't say that. I didn't say that. They said that. If I would have said something, I might have said that, but I didn't. I didn't say that.
I mean, my thought is that she's so terrible. I mean, she's basically like Joe Biden's insurance for not getting, you know, cast out of office. So my thought is they don't even, like, the people in charge don't even want her there. And so they want her to go against Trump and get absolutely demolished so that they never have to deal with her again. And they'll just deal with Trump for another 4 years.
Yeah. The devil's advocate in me kind of says, like, the reason why they're playing that over and over again, maybe, like, just like football, if you got a new coach on a team and you only got one tape from one game, that's all we got to look at. And that's pretty much what we got. That's the only thing we got. So
that's her campaign strategy, right? It's like hide in the bunker. It's like we put out platitudes and we don't give any substance. We don't do hard interviews.
Or
all you hear is the good stuff.
But then you don't have that tape for your opponent to watch. So when you come out to the game, you surprise them. Don't you come in with no hockey? Don't you come in with no hockey analogy?
I'm coming out with the football analogy. I'm not saying no. I think Rob is right, but he's actually wrong. Is that it's not?
He does
so
this
much,
every fucking time. He does this every fucking time.
Rob gets so emotional. He's look at him. He's like a little girl.
Go ahead.
Put some Vagisil on your achy vagina. Anyway.
Go boys, dude. Fuck the birds, dude. Fuck the birds.
Anyway, no. What I'm saying is it's more like a Matt Sanchez situation here, where you got plenty of tape on him, but there's one specific, very prolific tape, and she just has the butt fumble of like politics, bro.
The butt fumble.
The butt fumble of politics. Everybody here who knows football was like, I know the butt fumble. The butt fumble was prolific. That was prolific. Like, you literally watched her campaign take a nosedive. She was top of the polling, close to the top, like her and Joe Biden neck and neck. She's going to be the candidate. And then what happened? Tulsi went out there and she fucking ate her fucking face off and fed it to her friends. And everybody on stage went, well, she's dead now. Let's move along.
Yeah.
Glad we got Joe here. Thank God.
Welcome to the show, Mara. What are you drinking tonight?
Good evening. Tonight I am coping with the fact that neither of these candidates are going to talk about free trade by eating wonderful Chinese takeout and imported Labatt Blue.
Okay, there you
All right, Labatt Blue.
Canadian?
Yeah,
He's Canadian, right?
He's either Canadian or a vampire. The way he came in saying "Good evening."
Labatt's a solid beer, though. I'll give credit where credit's due. I like Labatt.
I like it too. I just
Since nobody knows what
discovered it.
Labatt
It's
is.
actually pretty good.
I haven't had a
I know
stout
what it
in
is.
3 years.
I think it's something that gay guys drink.
I mean, it is Canadian, so.
I am wearing pink. Like, it's okay.
Yeah. All right, so we got 4 minutes to the debate. They just had Krispy Kreme on there. Now they got Donna Brazil. Isn't she the one that gave away the debate questions to Hillary? Wasn't that her? I'm pretty sure it was that lady.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that. They leaked the question. Well, don't they already give them the questions in advance, though?
I think they tell them what the topics are, but you got to be stupid not to know what the topics are.
Yeah.
Like if you're not in, yeah,
They
I
give
don't
You've
know.
not been
topics, but
polling
not
your
any particular questions.
Right.
I think that's bullshit, but
You think it's bullshit that they don't get the questions?
I think it's bullshit that they think that everybody thinks they don't get the questions. You know, they all get the questions ahead of time.
Yeah.
Well,
How
yeah,
they make
no,
it entertaining.
I thought that was one of the things that came with the getting rid of the old way the debates were structured and bringing in the Commission on Presidential Debates.
Oh,
Look,
that's what you
all I'm
thought?
saying,
Is that what you thought?
debates are just like a pro
Well, yeah,
wrestling
that's what I
match.
pretty much fucking know because the Commission pretty
Oh,
much has a lockdown on all that shit.
Yeah, the commission fucking
Clearly, the commission
bullshit.
does not anymore.
Yeah.
It got it robbed out from under them.
I don't know, man. The commission was basically made after Ross Perot came in and fucked up George Bush so bad that Bill Clinton got elected. And I guess there's a thing in the clause where it's like if either the Republican or the Democrat say they don't want someone on stage, then they're not on stage.
Oh, yeah, that's how they keep out everybody else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We can't have third party candidates debating because then that could damage the status quo. We can't have that.
Chase Oliver and damaging any status quo, dude.
Somebody was sharing in our Discord earlier
Well,
that
no, Tony's on
Chase Oliver's doing his own debate right now.
Yeah,
You
well,
guys see
it's
that?
I think it's after.
Oh,
which
it's
we
after?
We should flip over there, see what's going on.
So is
Every
Chase
once in a
doing what
while.
RFK did last time?
Sounds like it.
Don't
Sounds
mention
like it,
RFK in the same sentence as Chase. People start to freak the fuck out.
Thank you.
What? Robert Kennedy Jr.?
And definitely don't bring up anything with money being involved with any of that, or they definitely lose their shit.
Yeah, capitalists are scared of money now.
Could you imagine if we didn't want money from something? Like, my God, that would be so stupid.
Could you imagine
Giving away something? Like, I'm a businessman. I would be like, my God, that's such a bad deal.
Can you
Can you
imagine
imagine if Donald
benefiting
Trump-
off of a rigged system?
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy, Rob. Don't talk nonsense like that.
I mean, it would
Can
be
you
like if
imagine
we knew how
actually
to
playing
count cards.
politics for once
Oh my
in
God.
the
What?
history of our party?
No
And then
way.
people
You mean
going like,
oh no,
No.
a little dirty
No.
politics?
You can't do
Me?
that.
Dirty politics? Never. I would
Well,
never
I
do
think-
such a thing.
I'm
I
about to
think
take one of these 2-inch cans and shove it, like just jam it against
for
my-
for the benefit of Mitch, I think that we should now that RFK is out of the race officially, we should instead try to partner with Randall Terry. I think that's where we need to go next.
joint
Randall
fundraising. Joint
Abortion is
JFC.
black genocide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
joint fundraising committee with Randall Terry.
Yeah, Mitch is going to
do it.
spearhead it. It's going to
Let's do
happen. All right, here we are. We got a minute and a half. Here is a quick reminder. Every time you hear this noise, we're going to drink. Any mention of China? If Trump says China, Rob, can you give us a demonstration? Anytime Trump says China, he's
I have
too
8.
slow.
I have 8 boards over here.
There you go.
Oh my God.
Kamala cackle. Anytime we get the Kamala cackle, any references to Bidenomics or Project 2025? Common
Oh
sense.
wait. I got one for Kamala cackle.
Oh, do you? Wait, what?
Yeah.
That would have went so much better with number 8. Common sense gun control.
Oh, yeah, we can do
Any
that.
references to migrant crime? Trump uses a nickname, he doesn't have to use Kamala's nickname. Could be anybody's nickname. Any reference to the cop versus the felon? You're so slow.
It's way over here. I gotta reach it. You know how small I got these little small tiny T-Rex arms. I gotta like reach over here. Touch these.
And then dodging the questions, probably going to be the big one for us. That'll be a group judge there. And then any references to the assassination attempt. So that's what we got going on.
What about who's gonna win? Who do we think's gonna win?
What's that role?
Tonight, the high-stakes showdown here
America.
in America between Vice President Kamala Harris and
The swamp wins every
first
time.
face-to-face meeting in this presidential election. Their first face-to-face meeting ever.
A historic race for president upended just weeks ago. President Biden.
All right, I'm going to crank the debate up for the audience, and I'm going to crank us all down just a tad.
The candidates separated by the smallest of margins, essentially tied in the polls nationally and in the key battlegrounds, including right here in Pennsylvania, all still very much in play. ABC News President right now.
Fucking
This
Dan
is a
Smart
ABC
probably
News
do
special,
something.
the most consequential moment of this
you pay him,
campaign.
he will.
See, now this is it.
This is what we
That's
Donald
right.
Trump,
Not Mike Buffer, Bruce
face
Buffer.
to face, historic.
One
I know, I
David
need
Banner.
Bruce Buffer on
ABC
here.
News presidential debate. Here now, David Moore and Lindsay Davis.
We will be able to
Good
pull
evening,
up
I'm
the chat
David
screen
Muir,
there.
and thank you for joining us for tonight's ABC News presidential debate. We want to
my
welcome
bad,
viewers
my bad.
watching on ABC and around the world tonight.
Scheduled
Vice
for
President
one
Kamala
fall.
Harris and President Donald Trump are just moments away from taking the stage in this unprecedented race for president.
And I'm Lindsay Davis. Tonight's meeting could be the most consequential event of their campaigns, with Election Day now less than 2 months away. For Vice President Kamala Harris, this is her first debate since President Biden withdrew from the race on July 21st. Of course, that decision followed his debate against President Donald Trump in June. Since then, this race has taken on an entirely new dynamic.
And that brings us to the rules of tonight's debate. 90 minutes with 2 commercial breaks. No topics or questions have been shared with the campaigns.
breaks. I gotta get
The
my
candidates will
palate
have
cleanser.
2 minutes to answer questions, and this is the clock. That's what they'll be seeing. 2 minutes for
pinky
rebuttals
promised we didn't
and
share
1 minute
any
for
topics.
follow-ups, clarifications, or responses. Their microphones will only be turned on when it's their turn to speak. No pre-written notes allowed.
Trump's clock
There
goes
is
like
no
way
audience here
faster than
tonight in this
Kamala's
hall
clock.
at the National Constitution
Like,
Center.
1, 2,
This is
3,
a
4, 5,
private
6, 7,
setting
8.
for 2 candidates who have never met.
President Trump won the coin toss. He chose to deliver the final closing
The
statement. of
coin
the evening.
toss?
Vice President Harris
Yep.
elected the podium.
Yeah, Donnie.
So let's now welcome the candidates to the stage. Vice President Kamala Harris and President Donald Trump.
They need an audience.
This is so solemn and sad. Oh my God.
This reminds me of
Kamala
like
Harris.
those COVID WWE matches.
There, I put the background for us.
Damn, she came on
Welcome
him
to you both.
aggressive.
It's
Like,
wonderful to have you. It's an
introduce
honor to have you
herself?
both here tonight.
Good evening. We are looking
Uh-huh.
forward
She
to
told
a
him her
very
pronouns.
thoughtful debate.
So let's get started. I want to begin tonight with the issue that voters repeatedly say is their number one issue, and that is the economy and the cost of living in this country. Vice President Harris, you
Say
and
it.
President Trump were elected 4 years ago, and your opponent on the stage here tonight
Say it.
often asks his supporters, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? When it comes to the economy, do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
Say the word.
So I was raised as a
gonna
middle
say
class kid. And
Oh.
I am actually the only
this a
person
dodge?
on this stage
She's
who
starting
has a
to
plan
dodge
that is about
immediately.
lifting
No.
up the middle
Hold on,
class and
wait,
working
She's
people of
got her
America.
intro.
I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people. And that is why I imagine and have actually a plan to build what I call an opportunity economy. Because here's the thing. We know that we
Dodging
have
the question,
a
Drake.
shortage of
Drake.
homes and
Drake.
housing, and the
Dodge
cost
the
of housing
question.
is too expensive for far too many people.
I'm not drinking yet.
We know that young families
What?
need support
Rob, you're gay.
to raise their
Rob.
children, and I intend on
Drink
extending
anyway.
a tax cut for those families of $6,000, which is the largest child tax credit
are
that we have
things
given in a
better
long
today than they
time,
were 4
so
years
that those
ago?
young families can afford to buy a crib, buy a car seat, buy clothes for their
Her
children.
idea is a tax cut.
My passion, one of them,
That's not her
is
idea.
small
She
businesses.
said she was gonna
I
give
was
money to
actually,
people.
my mother raised my sister and me, but there was a woman who helped raise us. We call her our second mother. She was a small business owner. I love our small businesses. My plan is to give a $50,000 tax deduction
That one's
to
a tax
start up
deduction.
small businesses, knowing they are part of the backbone of America's economy. My opponent, on the other hand, his plan is to do what he has done before. which is to provide a tax cut for billionaires and big corporations, which will result in $5 trillion to America's deficit. My opponent has a plan that I call the Trump's sales
Jake will
tax,
be back. We'll be ready.
which would be a 20% tax
There he is.
on
Yeah, this is
everyday
up for a bad
goods
start,
that you
Cornball.
rely on to
Okay.
get through the month. Economists have said that Trump sales tax
Yeah.
would actually result for middle-class families
Endless
in about
non-answer.
$4,000 more
Agreed.
a year because of
Rob's
his
still not
policies
drinking. He's
and
not
his
sure if it's a
ideas
non-answer yet. He's
about
still gotta
what
wait it
should
out.
be the backs of
I mean, she said she was
going to
cut
for tax cuts
taxes
for
and
billionaires.
give tax breaks to small
President Trump will
businesses,
give you 2
and then she hit Trump.
First of all, I have no sales tax. That's an incorrect statement. She knows that. We're doing tariffs
She
on
knows
other
that.
countries. Other
Is he gonna
countries are
say the
gonna
word?
Finally, after 75 years, pay us back for all that we've done for the world. And the tariff will be substantial in some cases. I took in
And his
billions and
answer's
billions
tariff,
of
so it's
dollars,
not
as
much
you know,
better.
from China.
Yeah.
In fact, they never
Bad
took the
answer,
tariff
but
off
don't
because
answer.
it was so
China.
much money they can't.
China.
They would totally
China, he
destroy
said China.
everything that they've set out to do.
Oh,
They're
did he?
taking in billions of dollars from China and other
Drake.
places
Oh,
they've
they did it
left the
again.
tariffs
Drake.
on.
China.
When I had it, I had tariffs,
China.
and yet I had no inflation. Look, we've had a terrible economy because inflation has,
Terrible.
which
China
is really
might
known
be
as
our
a country
downfall.
buster. It breaks up countries. We have inflation like very few people have ever seen
Say the
before.
word.
Probably the worst in our nation's history. We were at 21%, but that's being generous because many things are 50, 60, 70, and 80% higher than they were just a few years ago. This has been a disaster for people, for the middle class, but for every class.
Say it!
On top of that, we have millions of people pouring into our country from prisons and jails, from mental institutions
Come
and
on.
insane
Come on,
asylums.
Donnie. I
And they're
believe.
coming
Say
in
it.
and they're taking
Say it.
jobs that are occupied right now
Come on.
by African Americans and Hispanics. And also unions.
The blacks
Unions
and
are going to
browns.
be affected very
It's going
soon.
hard.
And you see what's happening. You see what's happening with towns throughout the United States. You
Say
look
the
at
word.
Springfield, Ohio. You look at Aurora in Colorado.
go. Okay,
They are
this
taking
counts
over
as
the
crime.
towns.
Drink.
They're taking over buildings.
Drink.
They're going in
Migrant crime.
violently.
Yeah,
migrant
These
crime.
are
There we go.
people
Migrant
that she
crime. Drink.
and
Yes,
Biden
referring to migrant
led into
crime.
our country, and they're destroying our country. They're dangerous. They're at the highest level of criminality.
her on camera.
And we have to get them out. We have to get
She's
them
gonna
out
lose
fast.
this debate.
I
She looks
created
like an
one of the
idiot.
greatest economies in the
She's like
history of
Hillary
our
in
country. I'll do it again.
She's gonna
and
start
even
cackling
better.
any
We are going to
minute.
get to immigration and
Any
border
minute.
security during this debate, but I would like to let Vice President Harris respond on the economy here.
Well, I would love to. Let's talk about what Donald Trump left us. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the Great Depression. Donald Trump left us the worst public health epidemic in a century. Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War.
I will down.
And
the
what we
rest of my
have done is
six-pack
clean up Donald Trump's
of
mess.
Labatt
What
if
we
Trump
have
says,
done and
"I
what I
quit."
intend to do is build on what we know are the aspirations
Josh
and the
got
hopes
his
of
big
the
ass
American
back
people.
up.
But I'm going to tell you on
She's
this
gonna
debate
build
tonight,
black better.
you're going to hear
That's right.
from the same old tired playbook, a bunch of lies, grievances, and name calling. What you're going to hear tonight is a detailed and dangerous plan called Project
dodging
2025 that the former
Oh,
president
fuck.
intends on
She is
implementing
dodging.
if he
Project
were elected
2025.
again.
That's up there, right?
I believe very strongly that the American people want a president who understands the importance of bringing
Mitch
us
is
together.
dying.
No, we have so
Wake
much
up.
more in common than
It's
what
okay.
separates us. And I pledge to you to be
These
a president
rules are
for all
dangerous, man.
Americans.
What have we
President Trump will
done?
give you a minute here to respond.
Number one, I have nothing to do, as you know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not going to read it. This was a group of people that got together. They came up with some ideas. I guess
Jake, the
some
way
good,
you looked
some
at that
bad,
glass was like, I
but
regret
it makes
my
no
decision
difference.
to
I have
join the
nothing to
show.
do. Everybody knows I'm an open book.
I regret my
Everybody
decision to
knows
make
what
this
I'm going to do.
drink.
Cut taxes very substantially and create a great economy like I did before. We had the greatest economy. We got hit with a pandemic. And the pandemic was not since 1917, where 100 million people died, has there been anything like it. We did a phenomenal job with the pandemic. We handed them over a country
Phenomenal
where the
job.
economy and where the stock market was higher than it was before the pandemic came in. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We made ventilators
Inflation
for the
was
entire
nuts.
world. We got gowns, we got masks, we did things that nobody thought possible. And people give me credit for rebuilding the military. They give me
These are
credit
just
for a lot
losing
of things,
talking points for
but not enough
Republicans.
credit for the great job we
Yeah.
did with the pandemic.
not be
But
good.
the only jobs they got were bounce back jobs. These were jobs bounce back, and it bounced back, and it went to their benefit. But I was the one that created them. They know it, and so does everybody else.
You know it. I know it. Everyone knows it.
So Donald Trump has no plan for you. And when you look at his economic plan, it's all about tax breaks for the richest people. I am offering what I describe as an opportunity economy.
God, she
and
looks like
the
she
best
wants to start
economist in our
cackling.
country, if not the world.
I am offering tax
have
breaks
reviewed
for the
our
other
relative
richest people.
plans for the future of
Quick
America.
interrogative.
What
Isn't
Goldman Sachs
Kamala,
has said
like, a
is that
foot
Donald
shorter than
Trump's
Donald?
plan would make the economy worse.
Yeah. Probably.
Mine would strengthen
Why-
the economy. What
'Cause the
the
camera
Wharton
framing.
School has said
Goldman
is
Sachs.
Donald
Good
Trump's
cameraman.
plan
Leave him alone.
would actually explode the deficit. 16 Nobel laureates have described his economic plan as something that would increase
true, though.
inflation and by the
This is
middle
true,
of
though.
next year would invite a
She
recession.
dropped her
You just have to
policy
look
agendas
at
like a
where
day
we
ago.
are and where we
Invite
stand
a
on the issues. And
recession?
I'd invite you to
Recession's
know
already here.
that Donald Trump actually
Right.
has no plan for you because he is more interested in defending
We're gonna go on to
himself
another
than he is
question.
in looking out for you.
It's just a soundbite. They gave her that to say.
Yeah!
Many of those
Don't
professors
need no
and
fucking
doctors
mic.
think my plan is a brilliant plan. It's a great plan. It's a plan that's going to bring up our worth, our value as a country.
getting
It's going
under
to
her
make
skin, dude.
people
It's
want to
working.
be able to
Do it
go
again.
and work,
Do it again.
create jobs, and create a lot of good, solid money for our country. And just to finish off, she doesn't have a plan.
Oh
She
my God, hi,
copied
JC.
Biden's plan, and it's like 4 sentences, like run, spot, run. 4 sentences. It says, oh, we'll try
Let's
and
go.
lower
I'm
taxes.
drinking for that.
She
That was
doesn't have a
good.
plan. Take a look at her plan. She doesn't have a plan.
Mr. President, I do want to drill down on something you both brought up.
She's like, holy
The
fuck.
Vice President brought up your tariffs. You
go.
responded.
I didn't
and
think
let's
he
drill
still
down on
had
this
that kill in
because
him. I
your
gotta give him
plan
props.
is what she calls is essentially a national sales tax. Your proposal calls for tariffs, as you pointed out here, on foreign imports across the board. You recently said that you might double your plan, imposing tariffs up to 20% on goods coming into this
Playing
country.
dirty.
As you
Damn.
know, many
I like
economists
it.
say that
The
with
bots
tariffs
are
at that
here.
level, costs are then
The
passed on to
bots
the
are
consumer.
here.
Vice President Harris has
It's
argued it'll mean
Twitch.
higher
Twitch is
prices
full
on
of
gas,
bots.
food, clothing, medication,
wonder what's going
arguing
on
it
on
costs the
Rumble.
typical family nearly $4,000 a year.
Rumble
Do you
Let's go
believe
look.
Americans
Yeah, we
can
have
afford
one
higher
viewer on
prices
Rumble.
because
It's
of
probably
tariffs?
you.
They're not going to have higher prices.
it's
What's
not.
going to
It's
have
fine.
and who's going to have higher prices is China and all of the countries that have been ripping us off for years. I was the only president ever. China was paying us hundreds of billions of dollars, and so were other countries. And, you know, if she doesn't like them, they should have gone out and they should have immediately cut the tariffs. But those tariffs are there 3.5 years now under their administration. We are going to take in billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. I had no inflation, virtually no inflation. They had the highest inflation perhaps in the history of our country because I've never seen a worse period of time. People can't go out and buy cereal or bacon or eggs or anything else. The people of our country are absolutely dying with what they've done. They've destroyed the economy. And all you have to do is look at a poll. The polls say 80 and 85 and even 90% that the Trump economy was great, that their economy was terrible.
Vice President Harris, I do want to ask for your response, and you heard what the president said there, because the
He's good
Biden
at nailing
administration
his
did
points
keep
on time.
a number of the Trump tariffs in
running
place.
over.
So how do you respond?
Well, let's be clear that the
Her
Trump
facial,
administration
like, expressions
resulted
are
in
saying,
a trade
she's on
deficit, one of the
defense.
highest we've ever
She's on
seen in the history of
defense.
America.
Oh, yeah, she's got-
He
he's already got
invited
her
trade
backpedaled.
wars. You want to talk about his deal with China? What he ended up doing is under Donald Trump's
China.
presidency.
She said
he ended
China,
up
that
selling
was a sneaky- that was a
American
sneaky one.
chips
She
to
said
Guys, we
China.
really got to
China
stop.
to
China
help
was a bad
them
idea.
To be
improve
clear,
and
the rules
modernize
say
their
Trump says
military.
China.
Basically
Oh, it's
sold
Trump
us
has
out
bullshit.
when
Oh, no,
a
you have to
policy
take a
about
drink.
China
Bullshit.
should be
I took
in
a
making
drink
sure
anyway.
the United States of
We're not
America
drinking anymore
wins the
now.
competition for the 21st century, which means focusing on the details of what that requires, focusing
drink
on
for that.
relationships with our allies, focusing on investing in American-based technology so that we win the race on AI, on quantum computing, focusing on what we need to do to support America's workforce.
Kamala, all you know
so
about
that
is
we don't
quantum
end up
dick
having
sucking.
on the short end of the stick in terms of workers' rights. But what Donald Trump did, let's talk about this,
Okay,
with
all right.
COVID, is he actually
Your
thanked
joke was
President
bad and you
Xi
should feel bad
for what
for
he
it.
did during COVID. Look
Look,
at
you
his
made
tweet.
Jake leave.
Thank you, President Xi! Exclamation point.
Oh, he made
when
himself
we know
leave.
that Xi
Oh,
was
no.
responsible for lacking and not giving us transparency about
His
the
joke was so bad,
origins
he
of COVID.
self-deported.
President Trump, I'll let you respond.
First of all, they bought their chips from Taiwan. We hardly make chips anymore because of
Rob, your joke wasn't that bad. You
philosophies
didn't have
like
to
they
leave.
have and policies like they have. I don't say her because she has no policy. Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat. She's gone to my philosophy. But if she ever got elected, she'd change it. And it will be the end of our country. She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. Her father was a Marxist professor in economics. And he taught her well. But when you look at what she's done to our country, and when you look at these millions and millions of people that are pouring into our country monthly, where it's, I believe, 21 million people, not the 15 that people say.
Come on,
and I think it's a
migrant
lot higher
crime.
than the 21. That's bigger than New York State pouring in. And just look at what they're doing to our country. They're criminals. Many of these people coming in are criminals. And that's
Criminals?
bad for
We're
our
getting awfully
economy, too.
close.
You know,
Close
you mentioned before, we'll talk about immigration
69
later.
viewers.
Well, bad immigration is
that.
the worst thing that can happen to our economy. They have, and she has, destroyed our country with policy that's insane. Almost policy that you'd say they have to hate our country.
President Trump, thank you. Lindsay?
I want to turn to the
And they
issue
do.
of
And they do.
abortion.
God
President
damn,
Trump
man,
walked
he
in
is
town
bringing
that you were
the
able
fire.
to kill Roe v.
Here we go,
Wade.
baby
Yeah, he's
killers.
Last
coming
year,
out
you
hard.
said that you were proud
here's a
to
Democrat
be the
strong
most pro-life
point
president
talking about
in
Roe v.
American
Wade.
history. Then last
Not a
month,
strong
you said that
abortion.
your
They
wanted it
administration
to be
would be
nationally
great for
regulated.
women
talking
and
about
their
dead-
reproductive rights. In your home state of Florida, you surprised many with
Home
regard to your
state?
6-week
Get that
abortion
shit
ban
outta
because you
here.
initially had said
Home
that it was too
state?
short. And you said, quote,
back to
I'm going to
New
be
York.
voting that we need more than 6
Donald
weeks.
is
But
a
then
Florida
the
man.
very next day, you
Embrace it.
reversed
It's not his
course
home
and
state.
said you
I
would vote
can't
to
hear
support
shit.
the
How are we
6-week
gonna know
ban.
who's dodging the
Vice
question?
President Harris says that women shouldn't trust you on the issue of abortion because you've changed your position so many times.
Many of the girls
Therefore,
I've
why
seen
should
have
they
had
trust you?
abortions.
Well, the
I've
reason
made
I'm
them
doing
have
that vote is
abortions.
because the plan is, as you know, the vote is they have abortion in the 9th month. They even have, and you can look at the governor of West Virginia, the previous governor of West Virginia, not the current governor, who's doing an excellent job.
I think it was
but
Virginia.
the governor before.
Thought it was Virginia,
He said
yeah.
the
It was
baby will be
Virginia, yeah.
born, and we will decide what to do with the baby.
Yeah,
In
they're
other
gonna
words,
fact
we'll
check us so
hard
execute
on
the
that.
baby.
Oh,
And
he's
that's
gonna
why
get
I did
fact
that,
checked on
because
that,
that predominates, because they're radical. The Democrats are radical in that. And her vice presidential pick, which I think was a horrible pick, by the way, for our country.
She read her
because he
comeback.
is
She's like,
really
"I got
out of
one.
it.
I'm ready."
But her vice presidential pick says
Let me at 'em.
abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's an execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay. And that's not okay with me, hence the vote. But what I did is something for 52 years. They've been trying to get Roe v. Wade into the states. And through the genius and heart and strength of 6 Supreme Court justices, we were able to do that. Now, I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. I believe strongly in it. Ronald Reagan did also. 85% of Republicans do. Exceptions.
Mentioning
Very
Ronald
important.
Reagan,
But we
wow.
were able to get it, and now states are voting on it. And
feel
for
like
the
that
first
should be getting
time,
another beer.
you're going to see, look, this is an issue that's torn our country apart for 52 years.
Kamala's
Every legal
facial
scholar,
expressions are not
every
saying I'm a
Democrat,
winner.
every Republican, liberal, conservative,
She
they
looks
all
really
wanted
weak.
this issue to be brought back to the states where the people could vote. And that's what happened. Now, Ohio, the vote was somewhat liberal. Kansas, the vote was somewhat liberal, much more liberal than people would have thought. But each individual state is voting.
actually
It's
the
the
right
vote
answer.
of the people now. It's not tied up in the federal government. I did a great service in
Yeah,
doing
now
it. It
apply
took
that to
courage to
everything
do
else.
it. And the
You know?
Supreme
Exactly.
Court had
Yeah.
great
That to
courage
everything
in
else.
doing it. And I give tremendous credit to those 6 justices.
We got to start
There
somewhere.
is no
It
state
starts
in
with
this
dead
country
babies.
where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam Vice President, I want to get your response to President
Moderators are
coming at him.
Oh, man, the rough is
a
getting in on
surprising
that.
fact. Let's understand how
I mean,
we got here.
California, they
Donald
had
Trump
New York.
third
hand
trimester
selected
abortions.
3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did exactly as he
Holy
intended.
shit,
And now
she's,
in
like,
over
breaking.
20 states, there are Trump abortion bans, which make it criminal
They're Trump abortions.
for
Trump
a
abortion
doctor or
bans?
nurse to
That's
provide health
that's
care. In one
ridiculous.
state, it provides prison for life. Trump abortion bans that make no exception even for rape and incest, which understand what that
Which he
means.
just said that
A
he was for.
survivor of a crime, a violation
Well,
to
I
their
mean, it's
body
not up to him. It's
does
up to
not
the
have the
states.
right to make a decision about
It's up
what
to
happens
Texas. It's
to their
up to
body
Florida.
next. That is immoral. And one does not have to abandon
That's
their
immoral.
faith
Killing babies is
or
immoral.
deeply
Kamala,
held
what the fuck
beliefs
are we
to
talking about?
agree. The government and Donald Trump certainly should not be telling a woman what to do with her body.
just
I
me,
have
or is
talked with
does
women
her talking
around
points
our
feel more
country.
scripted?
You want to talk about this is what
They
people
do.
wanted?
I mean, she just
Pregnant
labeled
women
it Trump
who want to
abortion
carry
ban.
a pregnancy to
I've
term,
never heard that
suffering
before.
from a
It's a good line.
miscarriage, being
It is a good
denied
line.
care
Yeah.
in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot. She didn't want that. Her husband didn't want that.
She is much
A
shorter.
12 or 13-year-old survivor of incest being forced to carry a pregnancy to term.
You didn't
They
build
don't
that.
want that.
You didn't
And
build
I
it.
pledge to you, when Congress passes a bill
You got a business?
put back in
You
place
didn't
the
build that.
protections of
Thank
Roe
you.
v.
Thank
Wade
you, guys.
as
All right.
President of the United States,
You
I
made
will
a baby?
proudly
You didn't build that?
sign
We're
it
gonna kill that
into
son of a bitch.
law. But understand,
My favorite one is
if Donald Trump
House
were
did
to
that.
be reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban. Understand, in his Project 2025, there would be a national abortion, a monitor that would be monitoring your
He sent it
pregnancies,
to the states
your
for a
miscarriages.
reason.
I think the American people believe that certain freedoms, in particular the freedom to make decisions about one's own body, should not be made by the government.
Thank you, Vice President.
It goes again. It's a lie. I'm not signing a ban, and there's no reason to sign a ban because we've gotten what everybody wanted. Democrats, Republicans, and everybody else, and every legal scholar wanted it to be brought back into the states, and the states are voting. And it may take a little time,
That's my
but for
favorite one.
52 years, this issue has torn our country apart, and they've wanted it back in the states. And I did something that nobody thought was possible. The states are now voting. What she says is an absolute lie. And as far as the abortion ban, no, I'm not in favor of abortion ban, but it doesn't matter because this issue has now been taken over by the states.
Would you veto a national abortion ban if it came
Well,
to
I
your
won't
desk?
have to because, again, two things. Number one, she said she'll go back to Congress. She'll never get the vote. It's impossible
right.
for her to get the vote, especially now with the 50-50 and essentially 50-50 in both Senate and the House. She's not going to get the vote. She can't get the vote. She won't even come close to it. So it's just talk. You know what it reminds me of when they said they're going to get student loans terminated, and it ended up being a total catastrophe. The student loans.
That's a good one.
I think probably her boss, if you call him a boss, he spends all his time on the beach. But look, her boss went out and said, we'll do it again. We'll do it a different way. And he went out, got rejected again by the Supreme Court. So all these students got taunted with this whole thing about this whole idea. And how unfair that would have been, part of the reason they lost, to the millions and millions of people that had to pay off their student loans. They didn't get it for free. But they were saying it's the same way that they talked about that they talk about abortion.
But if I could just get a yes or no, because your running mate, J.D. Vance, has said that you would veto it if it did come to your desk.
Well, I didn't discuss it with J.D. In all fairness, J.D. And I don't mind
not
if
being
he
a
has a certain view, but I think he was speaking for me. But
I never
really
discussed
didn't.
it with him.
Look,
when she just asked
we don't
for a
have
yes
to
or no?
discuss it because she'd never be able to get it, just like she couldn't get student loans. They couldn't get student loans. They didn't even come
Right, I'll
close to
drink more.
getting student loans. They taunted young people and a lot of other people that had loans.
I got like
They can never get
10,000
this
for giving
approved.
off my
So
student
it doesn't
loans.
matter what she says about going to Congress. Well, wonderful. Let's go to Congress. Do it. But the fact is that for years they wanted
Yeah,
to
a
get
little
it
bit.
out of Congress and out of the federal government. And we did something that everybody said couldn't be done. And now you have a vote of the people on abortion.
Vice President Harris, I want to give you your time to respond, but I do want to ask, would you support any restrictions on a woman's right to an abortion?
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade. And as you
Boo.
rightly mentioned, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That is not happening. It's insulting to the women of America. And understand
It's
what
not
has
really
been
insulting.
happening
It
under
does
Donald
happen.
Trump's
Was what the
abortion
former
bans.
governor
Yeah,
of
it actually does
Couples
happen.
who
said.
pray and dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatments. what is happening in our country.
So go to another
working
state.
people,
Ruthless
working
pace
women
with
Just factually.
all
who are
time
working
good
one
take
or two
right there.
jobs, who can barely afford childcare as it is, have to travel to another state to get on a plane sitting next to
doing the
strangers
Obama
to go and get
thumb
the health care
fist
she
thing.
needs.
Yeah.
Barely can
Come on,
afford to
folks.
do it, and what you
She's
are
making
putting
the
her through
she's
is
doing the
unconscionable.
emotional argument right
And the
now. She's
people
appealing
of
to your
America
emotions.
have not.
That's
the
all she
majority
really
of
has.
Americans believe in a woman's right to make decisions
That's
about
all
her own body,
politicians usually
and that
have
is
is
why
appeal to emotion.
in every state where this issue has
Trump
been on
really
the
is
ballot in
unique,
red
isn't
and
he?
blue states both, the people of America have voted for freedom.
Vice
Well,
President Harris,
Excuse me, I
thank
have
you.
to
We'll
respond.
see. It's on
Another
the
lie.
ballot in a lot of
It's
states
another lie.
coming up.
I have been a leader on IVF, which is fertilization. The IVF, I have been a leader. In fact, when they got a very negative decision on IVF from the Alabama courts,
Grinder account, dude.
I
Why'd
saw
you
the
post
people of
that?
Alabama and the legislature 2 days later voted it in. I've been a leader on it. They know that, and everybody else knows it. I have been a leader on fertilization, IVF.
What's
and
up,
the
Pat?
other thing, you should ask, will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that?
Oh!
Why don't you ask her
Why-
that
why
question?
don't you
That's
answer
the
the
problem.
question? Would you
because
veto?
under Roe v.
Oh,
Wade,
they
you
turned the
could
mic
give
off.
abortions in the 7th month, the
Listen,
8th
listen.
month, the 9th
This
month,
is-
and probably
this is
have
avoiding
to
the question.
Just look
Avoiding
at
the
the
question.
governor, former
She did
governor
avoid-
of
well,
Virginia.
they cut
the
her
governor
mic
of
off.
Virginia said we put the baby aside and then
Either
we
way,
determine
that-
Oh, he
what
said
we should
Virginia.
do with the
He
baby.
said it
corrected
right
He
this
said
time.
Virginia this
We're
time.
going to turn now to immigration and border security. We
Oh,
know
you're
it's an
gonna
issue that's
turn now.
important to
Now
Republicans,
you're gonna
Democrats,
turn.
voters across the board
Now we're
in
gonna
this country.
turn.
Vice President Harris, you were tasked by President Biden with getting to the root causes of migration from Central America. We know that illegal border
how'd you
crossings reached
handle
a
that?
record high in the
Dude,
Biden
I just
administration. This
refilled
past
my
June,
drink. He
I
President
feel
Biden
like the
imposed
ref
tough
just
new
took
asylum
Trump
restrictions.
off
We
of
know
her
the
while
numbers
he was,
since
like,
then
in the
have
middle of
dropped
a beatdown,
significantly.
you know
I'm
what
not
I
gonna lie,
But my
these
question to you
little tiny
tonight is
drinks were
why did
bad
the
idea. I'm about to
administration
have to
wait
go
until
get 4
6
more.
months before the election to act? And would you have done anything differently from
Man,
President
that was
Biden on this?
savage.
So I'm the only person on this stage who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations
prosecutor?
for the
Does that count
trafficking
as a
of
cop?
guns, drugs, and human beings. And let me say that the United States Congress, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Senate, came up with a border security bill which I supported. And that bill would have put
Trump
1,500
ruined it.
more border agents on the border
He's-
to
we
help
got the
those
That
bill
authorities
also
working there right now
wait, hang on,
overtime
guys.
trying to
that
do their
bill
job.
also gave like
It would have allowed
trillions
us
of dollars
to stem the
Ukraine
flow
and
of
Israel.
fentanyl coming into
exactly.
the United States. I know there's so many
that
families
bill
watching
that
tonight
she's talking about
who have been
was
personally
voted down
affected
because they didn't
by
want
the
to
surge
give
of fentanyl in our
billions of
country.
dollars to
that
Ukraine.
bill would have put more resources to allow us to prosecute transnational criminal organizations
gonna say it,
for
though. Trump will
trafficking
not
in
say
guns,
that.
drugs, and human beings. But you know what
You
happened
sure?
Does Rob
to
has
that
to
bill?
finish his drink?
Donald
I
Trump
agree-
got
I
on
agree
the
with that.
phone, called up
Yeah,
some
yeah.
folks in
If he says it, I'll
Congress and
finish.
said,
I'll
"Kill the
finish my
bill."
little
And you know
tiny
why?
baby bit of good drink.
Because he preferred to run on a problem
He's like, "This
instead
ain't
of
none."
fixing
Come
a
on,
problem.
Donald, just this one.
And understand, this comes at a time where the people
knows
of our
about cum.
country
This
actually
comes.
need a
I was
leader
thinking that should have
who
been a rule.
engages
Should have
in
been a rule.
solutions,
If she says,
who
Kamala says
actually
cum.
addresses the problems at hand. But what we have in the former president is someone who would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And I'll tell you something, he's
Like
going to talk
abortion?
about immigration a lot tonight, even when it's not the subject that is being
Like
raised.
gun control?
And I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch.
You already invited.
You will
me, and I
see
tried
during
to
the
kill
course
the
of his
motherfucker.
rallies, he talks about
Mistake.
fictional
Mistake.
characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that
Bitch,
people
the
start
question
leaving
was
his
about
rallies
how you
early
handle
out of
immigration.
exhaustion
This is
and boredom.
dodging. This is dodging.
And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you. You will not hear him talk about your needs, your dreams, and your needs
Has he
and your
looked at her
desires.
one time?
And
Is
I'll
she
tell you, I
talking to the
believe you
immigrants? Because
deserve
they don't
a
speak
president
English.
who actually puts you first. And I pledge to you that I will.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, on that point, I want to
you
get
for
your
what?
response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though, why did you try to kill that bill, and successfully so? That would have put thousands thousands of additional agents and officers on the border.
First, let me respond as to the
on
rallies.
the screen
She
what
said
the
people
question
start leaving.
was.
People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there, and then showing them in a different
Proven.
light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics. That's because people want to take their country back.
Talk about
Our
PA.
country
I mean, I
is
gotta
being
admit,
lost.
he
We're
put
a
on a hell of
failing
a show at
nation.
the LP.
And it happened 3.5 years ago. And what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it.
He's not
going to
say
so
Ukraine.
Embarrassed by it.
He's not going to say
in
Ukraine.
Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people that come in, they're eating the cats. They're eating the pets. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame. As far as rallies are concerned, as far as the reason they go is they like what I say. They want to bring our country back. They want to make America great again. It's a very simple phrase. Make America great again. She's destroying this country, and if she becomes president, this country doesn't have a chance
I gotta go
of
refill.
success. Not only success, we'll end up being Venezuela.
Everybody
on
leaves to go get a
steroids.
refill.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up
Yeah, enjoy the
Springfield,
debate, everybody. I
Ohio,
gotta get
and
more drinks.
ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports
Is
of
there a
specific
commercial
claims of
break or
pets being
anything? It's gotta
harmed,
be coming
injured,
up,
or
too.
abused by individuals
coming
within the immigrant community.
Well,
All
I've
this.
seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is
The people on
this is a
television say
clear-
my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for
Do
a
we have
city
to kill
manager.
another one for
People
that?
on television
Do we have to
say
kill another one for that?
He mentioned
the people
it,
that
that's
went
it.
there.
Again, the Springfield City
I like how
manager
Donald
says
Trump's
there's no
like,
evidence of that. Vice President
Fine.
Pence, I'll let you respond to the rest of it.
Round one.
You talk about extreme.
Oh my God.
You know, this is, I think, one of the reasons why in this election, I actually have the endorsement of 200 Republicans who have
Like
formally
Dick Cheney.
worked with President Bush,
Yeah,
Mitt
Dick
Romney,
Cheney
and John
is who's
McCain,
endorsing it.
And Dick Cheney.
including the
Fucking
endorsement of
Cheney.
former Vice President Dick Cheney and
You're
Congressmember
proud of that?
Liz Cheney. And if you want to
Dick
really
Cheney,
know
Mr.
the
Shed the
inside track
18-year-olds
on
to
who
die.
the former president is,
Dick
if he didn't make it clear already,
motherfucking Cheney.
just ask people who
That's
have
the
worked with
Republican
him.
you want to
His
brag
former
about.
chief of staff, a four-star
Donald
general,
does this, man,
has said he
I'll
has
become a
contempt
Trump
for the
fan.
Constitution of the United
Please go
States.
after her for Dick Cheney.
His former national security advisor has said he is dangerous and unfit. His former Secretary of Defense
gonna die.
has said the nation, the
Unfit.
republic, would never survive
Kamala's about to unfit
another
his dick in him
Trump
now.
term.
Corn is
And when
good.
we listen to this kind of rhetoric, when the issues
There's
that affect
79
the American
people watching
people
live.
are
Like
not
and
being
subscribe to the
addressed,
channel,
I
guys.
think
Bring
the
it
choice
on.
is clear in this election.
We're waiting
President
on
Trump,
you.
I'll give you a quick minute to respond here.
Thank you, because when I hear that, see, I'm a different kind of a person. I fired most of those people. Not so graciously. They did bad things or a bad job. I fired
I'm
them.
not gonna
They
lie.
never fired one person. They didn't fire anybody having to do with Afghanistan and the Taliban and the 13 people whose were just killed, viciously and violently killed. And I got to know the parents and the family. They didn't fire. They should have fired all those generals, all those top people, because that was one of the most incompetently handled situations anybody has ever seen. So when somebody does a bad job,
Please
I
rip
fire
into
him.
Dick
And you
Cheney.
take a guy like Esper. He was no good. I fired him. So he writes a book. Another one writes a book. Because with me, they can write books. With nobody else can they. But they have done such a poor job, and they never fire anybody. Look at the economy. Look at the inflation. They didn't fire any of their economists. They have the same people. That's a good way not to have books written about you. But just to
Krugman.
finish, I got more votes than any Republican in history
Good point, Grumpy.
by
No,
far.
they did not fire Fauci.
In fact, I got
He
more
didn't
votes
fire
than any
Fauci. That's a great
president,
point.
sitting
He should
have
president
fired Fauci.
in history by far.
Why I won't vote for
Let me
Trump?
continue on immigration. It was what you wanted to talk about earlier,
All right,
so
how
let's
many
get back
drinks
to your
did I miss?
deportation
I wanted him to rip into Dick Cheney.
proposal that the vice president has reacted to as well.
Okay, it took
President
me
Trump,
like
you
5
called this
times
the
reading
largest
that to
domestic
figure out what it
deportation
was.
operation in the history of
I
our
didn't know
country.
what
You
it
say
meant.
you would use the National Guard. You say if things get out of control, you'd have no problem using the U.S.
With local
military.
police, yes.
You also said you would use local police. How would you deport 11 million undocumented immigrants? I know you believe that number is much higher. Take us through this. What does this look like? Will authorities be going door to door in this country?
Yeah. It is much higher because of them. They allowed criminals, many, many millions of criminals.
Is this a reference
They
to
allowed
migrant crime?
terrorists. They
No,
allowed
this is pretty important.
common
What does it
street
look-
criminals.
what does
They
it look
allowed
like,
people to come in, drug dealers to come into our country,
Which
and
is
they're now
already
in the
dead.
United States and
wagon
told
lost a wheel.
by their countries like
I was
Venezuela,
really hoping
don't ever come back or we're
that
going to
eating
kill
the
you.
dogs
Do you know
wasn't
that
gonna come
crime
up?
in Venezuela and crime in countries all over the world is way down? You know why? Because they've taken their criminals off the street and they've given them to her to
Yeah,
put
I heard
into
this
our
one.
country.
Wow.
And
Drink.
this will
Yeah,
be
yeah,
one of the
I'm
greatest
drinking.
mistakes in history for them to allow. And I think they probably did it because they think they're going to get votes, but it's not worth it because they're destroying the fabric of our country by what they've done. There's never been anything done like this at all. They've destroyed the fabric of our country. Millions of people let in, and all over the world, crime is down all over the world except here. Crime here is up and through the roof. Despite their fraudulent statements that they made, crime in this country is through the roof. And we have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime.
Oh,
and it's
shit!
happening at levels that nobody thought
Vice
was.
President Trump, as you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually
He
coming
didn't
down in
reference
this
it.
country.
He
But
said-
Vice
Excuse me,
President
the
Harris, I'll
FBI
give you
defraud. They were
No more
defrauding
letting
statements.
ChatGPT
They didn't
make the
include the
rules.
worst cities.
My mom just
They
texted
didn't
me and said,
include the
"Hide your
cities
dogs."
with the worst crime. It was
Get
a
the fuck outta
fraud.
here.
Just like their number of 818,000 jobs that they said they created turned out to be a fraud.
President Trump, thank you. I'll let you respond, Vice President Harris.
Well, I
two
think
good
this
points
is so
he just
rich,
said.
coming from someone who has been prosecuted for
Here we go.
This has
national
gotta be
security
copy
crimes,
felon.
economic
she's
crimes,
coming off
election
as so
interference,
Felon
has
versus
been
cop.
found
Cop versus
liable
felon.
for sexual assault, and his next big court appearance is in November at his own criminal sentencing.
Here it is.
And let's be clear where each person stands on the issue of what is important about respect for the rule of law and respect for law enforcement. The former vice president called for defunding federal law enforcement, 45,000 agents.
The former
Get this,
vice president?
on the day after he was arraigned on 34 felony counts. So let's talk
Like,
about
all
what
respect
is
for law enforcement,
important
wanna
in this
burn
race.
down the
It is
police
important
stations?
that we
Like,
move
That's right.
forward,
Yeah.
that we turn the page
Kamala respects
on this same
law
old
enforcement so much
tired rhetoric
that he kept
and
that she
address
kept people in jail
the needs
to
of
help
the
them
American
fight
people.
fires in
Address what
California.
we need to do about the housing shortage, which I have a plan for. Address what we must do to support our small businesses. Address bringing down the price of groceries. But frankly, the American people are exhausted with this same old tired playbook.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
Excuse me. Every one of those cases was started by them against their political opponent. And I'm winning most of them, and I will win the rest on appeal. And you saw that with the decision that came down just recently from the Supreme Court. I'm winning most of them. But those are cases, it's called weaponization. Never happened in this country. They weaponized the Justice Department. Every one of those cases was involved with the DOJ, from Atlanta and Fani Willis to the Attorney General of New York and the DA in New York. Every one of those cases. And then they say, oh, he's a criminal. They're the ones that made them go after me. By the way, Joe Biden was found essentially guilty on the documents case. And what happened
said
in
he
my
was too
documents
dumb to be
case?
guilty.
They said, oh, that's the toughest of them all. A complete and total victory. 2 months ago, it was thrown out. It's weaponization, and they used it, and it's never happened in this country. They used it to try and win an election. They're fake cases.
President Trump, thank you. A really quick response here, Vice President Harris, on this notion of weaponization of the Justice Department.
Well, let's talk about extreme and understand the context in which
She's
this
so gonna
election in
dodge.
2024 is taking place. The United States Supreme Court recently ruled that the former president would essentially be immune from any misconduct if he were to enter the White House again. Understand, this is someone who has openly said he would terminate, I'm quoting, terminate the Constitution
Boys,
of the United States, that he
if
would
you left in
weaponize the
2032,
Department of
whatever
Kamala would
Justice
wipe her
against
pussy
his
with the
political
fucking
immune.
Constitution
enemies.
if she could.
Someone who
Jesus
has openly
Christ, dude.
Whatever you want,
expressed
you can
disdain
have. I'm immune.
for
I can do
members of
whatever I
our
want.
military. Understand what
Skip
it
the
would mean
election
if Donald Trump
2032.
were back in the White House with no guardrails. Because certainly we know now the court won't stop him. We know J.D. Vance is not going to stop him. It's up to the American people.
Vice President
stop
Harris,
him.
thank you. Lindsay?
Vice President
That
Harris,
seems
in
like a
your
whole bunch of
last run
bullshit.
for
So I'm going
president.
to count that as
This is the one
That's
that
gotta be
weaponized,
dodging.
not
I'm with
me.
you. I'm with
She
you.
weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they
Reference
say
to the assassination
about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy with a
President
fake Russia investigation
We do have a lot to
that
get.
went nowhere.
We have a lot to get to. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, you said you wanted to ban fracking. Now you don't. You wanted mandatory government buyback programs for assault weapons. Now your
Common sense
campaign
gun control
says you
on its
don't.
way.
You supported
I feel like
decriminalizing
his
border
inner Javier
crossings.
Milei is
Now you're
coming out
taking a
there.
harder line. I
Come
know
on.
you say that your
Christ, you got
values have
fiery.
not changed. So then why have so many of your policy positions changed?
So my values have not changed,
Great
and I'm going to
question.
discuss at least every point that you've made. But in particular, let's talk about fracking because we're here in Pennsylvania. I made that
Yeah, she
very clear
definitely
in
got the
2020.
question. She's ready.
I will not ban fracking. I have not banned fracking as Vice President of the United States. And in fact, I was the tie-breaking vote
That's
on the
gonna lose her
Inflation
some
Reduction Act, which opened
Yeah.
new leases
Radical
for fracking.
environmentalists.
My
All going to
position
jail
is
time.
that
that
we have got
definitely
to
reduced
invest
inflation.
in diverse
Kamala knows
sources
thing
of
about
energy so
fracking
we
because
reduce
men
our
be
reliance
fracking
on
in
foreign
that
oil.
vagina, you
We
know
have
what I'm saying?
had the largest increase in
pound, you know what I'm
domestic oil
saying?
production
Rob, don't
in
quit your
history
day job.
because of an approach that recognizes that we cannot
I'm saying?
over-rely on foreign oil. As
No,
it relates
I
to
don't
my
know what you're
values, let
saying.
me tell you,
Please
I grew
elaborate.
up a middle-class
Like
kid
frat,
raised by a
frat,
hardworking mother
frat.
who worked and saved and
Welcome,
was able to
Rumble.
buy
You're
our
making
first
that
home when I
noise.
was a
You might want to
teenager.
go see a doctor.
The
Rumble
values
in
I
the-
bring to the
Rumble
importance
in
of
the house.
homeownership,
Shut up,
knowing not
Josh.
everybody
Here we go.
got
You gotta make that
handed
noise.
$400 million on a silver
Rob,
platter
does
and
this
then
still
filed
burn when you
bankruptcy
pee?
6 times, is a value that I bring to my work to say we are going to work with the private sector and home builders to increase 3 million homes, increase by 3 million homes by the end of my first
God
term.
damn, she
My
comes
work
off as so
that is
bad.
related
3
to
million homes.
having a friend when I was in
like
high
3
school who
million
was sexually
homes?
assaulted by her stepfather. And my focus then on protecting women and children
way
from violent
overshare.
crime is based on a value that is deeply grounded in the importance of standing up for those who are most vulnerable.
That's fine, but she
My
uses
work
that passion
is
to
about
lock up
protecting Social
nonviolent drug
Security and
offenders.
Medicare is based on long-standing work that I have done, protecting seniors from scams. My values have not changed. And what is important is that there is a
That's
president
even
who
worse.
actually brings values
Now-
and a
Just
perspective
going out
that is
on a
about
limb here.
lifting people up
I feel like
and
we're
not
gonna hear
beating people
my values have
down
not changed,
and
in
name
at least,
calling.
like, 2 or
The
3
true
rallies
measure of the
between now and end of
leader
the month.
is the leader who actually understands the strength
Or
is not
some
in
version
beating
of that.
people down, it's in lifting people up. I intend to be that president.
President Trump, your
Well, first of
response?
all, I wasn't given
Piece of
$400 million.
shit.
I wish I was. My father was a Brooklyn builder, Brooklyn, Queens, and a great father, and I learned a lot from him. But I was given a fraction of that, a tiny fraction, and I built it into many, many billions of dollars. Many, many
It's a
billions.
fetus.
And when people see it, they are
pretty
even
polarized.
surprised. So we don't have to talk about that. Fracking, she's been against it for 12 years. Defund the police. She's been against that
It's already
forever.
started.
She gave all that stuff up
It's so
very
deep already.
wrongly,
Oh,
very
damn. Oh,
horribly,
damn.
and everybody's laughing at it. Okay, they're all
Are we
laughing
getting
at
Howard?
it. She gave up at
on.
least 12 and
Come
probably
on.
14 or
Give me an
15
E.
different policies.
Give me an
Like,
E.
she was big on defund the police.
opening
In
YouTube
Minnesota,
now.
she went
I'm
out.
almost
Wait a minute,
there.
I'm talking now.
No.
No! Does that sound familiar?
Rob cut it off.
She went out in Minnesota and wanted to let criminals that killed people, that burned down Minneapolis, she went out and raised money to get them out of jail. She did things that
not
nobody would
migrant
ever
crime.
think of. Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison. This is a radical left liberal that would do this. She wants to confiscate your guns.
Are we
and she
not
will
in favor
never
of
allow fracking
transgender
in
operations for
Pennsylvania.
illegal immigrants?
If she won the election, fracking in
Oh, wait,
Pennsylvania
are you in
will
favor of
end on
transgender
day one.
operations
I really
for
want to
illegal
see. I
immigrants?
really want to
It's
see
so
what she
important,
has to
in my
say
opinion.
about this. This should be fun.
So I got the oil business going like nobody has ever done before. When they took over,
He said he knows.
they got
Donald
rid
Trump
of it,
said, "I know
started
how to
getting
check
rid of
the
it.
oil."
He knows
and
this
the
is only going to
prices were
hurt her
going
depending
up
on how
the
he-
roof.
she
They
responds to this.
immediately let these guys go
no win for her.
to where they were.
If I hear anyone voting
I
for
would have
Kamala
been
and be like,
five
"Are you voting for
times, 4
transgender
times, 5
operations for
times
illegal
higher,
immigrants?"
because you told me 3.5 years ago. They got it up to where
Her
I
only
was.
recourse
They
is
had
to
no choice
ignore
because
that.
the prices of
But
energy were
even
were
then she dodges
quadrupling
the
and
question.
doubling. You saw what happened to
I'm just
gasoline.
saying, if
so
the
they said,
government
let's go
would
back
fund
to
it,
Trump.
let's at
But
least
if she won the
pay
election.
Don't talk to
the
me. You're
day
trying to
after the
trans
election,
migrants. They want to
they'll go
trans
back to
all the
destroying our
migrants. I want to
country.
keep them.
Oil will
around.
be dead. Fossil fuel will be dead. We'll go back to windmills and we'll go back to solar when they need a whole desert to get some energy to come out of it. You ever see a solar plant? By the way, I'm a big fan of solar. But they take 400, 500 acres of desert
President
soil.
Trump, we have a
These
lot
are
of
not
issues.
good things for the
We're
environment.
out of time. Thank you.
Lindsay, thank you. We have an election in just 56 days. And
This
I want to
debate-
talk
They
about
don't
the
even
peaceful
let her
transfer of
respond. They
power,
just
which,
move
of course,
on.
we all know is a cornerstone of our democracy
Oh,
and the
they're
role of
not
the
even-
president in
You're
a
not
moment
even
of
going to let her
crisis.
talk about trans and the
Mr.
migrants?
President, on
Come on.
January 6th, you told your supporters to march to the Capitol. You said you would be right
haven't
there
even
with
got
them.
to the first
The
commercial
country and the
break. We're
world
still in
saw
round
what played
one.
out at the Capitol that day.
Did he just
Officers
lie?
coming under
migrants
attack.
trans.
I'm already,
Aides in the West
like-
Wing say you watched it unfold on television off the Oval Office. You did send out tweets, but it was more than 2 hours before you sent out that video message telling your supporters to go home. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day?
You just said a thing that isn't covered. Peacefully and patriotically, I said during my speech, not later on.
There we go.
Peacefully and patriotically. And nobody on the other side was killed. Ashley Babbitt was shot by an out-of-control police officer that should have never, ever shot her. It's a disgrace. But
If
we didn't
Kamala
do this group of
speaks in
people that
support
have
of
been
that
treated
cop,
so badly. I
that cop
ask,
be felon.
what about all the people that are pouring into our country and killing people that she allowed to
not
pour
wrong.
in? She was the border czar, remember
You're
that?
not
She
wrong.
was the border czar.
Crime.
She doesn't want to be called the border czar because she's embarrassed by the border. In
I
fact,
don't
she said
blame
at the
you,
beginning,
Jake. I
oh,
really
I'm
don't
surprised
blame
you're not
you.
talking
His
about the border yet.
connection with shit.
That's
Maybe
because she knows what a bad job they've done. What about those people? What are they going to be prosecuted?
Those
When are
people.
these people from countries all over the world, not just South America, they're coming in from all over the world, David, all over the world. And crime rates are down all over the world because of it.
But let me just
when
ask
are those, David,
Is that
when are
migrant
those
crime?
people going to be prosecuted?
shut the
when
fuck
are the
up.
people that burned down Minneapolis going to be prosecuted? Or in
Yeah.
Seattle, they went into Seattle, they took over a big percentage of the city of Seattle. When are those people going to be prosecuted?
But let me just ask
You might ask
I
her that
thought it was
question.
You were the
America.
president. You
Let
were
the
watching it
anarchists
unfold on
anarchists
television. It's a very simple
embarrass
question
themselves.
as we move forward toward another election.
Oh,
Is there
American
anything you
leftists,
you
regret
got to catch
about
up,
what
girl.
you did on that
We
day?
already there.
Yes,
I
right.
had
Yeah,
nothing to
we're-
do with that
Yeah,
other than
this-
they asked me to
this
make a
is
speech.
very
I showed up for a
interesting game we're
speech. I said,
playing
I
here.
think it's going to be big.
I think
went to
ABC
Nancy
just said, fuck
Pelosi
these
and the
Christy,
mayor
you'd
of
already be
Washington,
drunk
D.C.
if you were here already.
And the mayor put it back in writing, as you know. I said, you know, this is going to be a
Those two
very
commercials are
big
gonna come from,
rally
like, the
or whatever you want to call it.
post-debate
And again,
analytics.
it wasn't done by me. It was done by others. I said,
yeah.
I'd like to give
We're
you 10,000
minutes in.
National Guard or soldiers.
I know, that's what I'm
They
saying.
rejected
Where's
me.
the second
Nancy
commercial
Pelosi
gonna come
rejected me. It
at
was
the
just
end after
2 weeks
it's done?
ago. Her daughter has a tape of
They're
her
not
saying
breaking away.
she is fully responsible for what happened.
They're like,
They want to
fuck
get
these
rid of that tape.
advertisers. They can suck our
It would
dick,
have
we're
never
refunded.
happened if Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington did their jobs. I wasn't responsible for security.
get there, Christy.
Nancy
We'll get
Pelosi
there.
was responsible. She didn't do her job.
The question was about you as president, not about former Speaker
When is
Pelosi.
this
But I do want
commercial
Vice President
break?
Harris to respond here.
Never.
I was at the Capitol on January 6th. I was the vice president-elect. I was also an acting senator. I was there. And on that day, the president of the United States incited a violent mob
How is your timing
to
good like
attack
this? Come on.
our nation's capital, to desecrate our nation's capital. On that day, 140 law enforcement officers were injured,
Wrong.
and some died.
Wrong.
I understand.
No, they
The
didn't.
former president has been indicted
no, a
and
cop
impeached
died.
for
Am I
exactly
supposed to
that
feel bad?
reason. But this is not an isolated situation. Let's remember Charlottesville,
Put it in reverse.
where there was a mob of people
There's
carrying
currently
tiki torches,
91 watching
spewing
on all platforms, so I
anti-Semitic
can subscribe.
hate. And
Yeah,
what
we got
did
91
the
watching
president
on
then at
X,
the time
Rumble,
say?
Twitch.
And
There
if
were
you're
fine
drinking
people
along
on
with
each
us,
side.
for the love of God, I
Let's
hope
remember
you're all right.
That
Yeah,
when it came to the
We're
press
trying to
was a
get to 600.
militia.
Let's get us to 600 tonight. We
The
got
president said, the
592,
former president said,
593.
stand back
Get
and
us
stand
We
600
get to
by.
tonight.
600 tonight on
So
the
for
Discord.
everyone
we will
watching
finally
who
watch and
remembers
review
what
the
January
last
6th
Gestapo
was,
orgy.
I say
No,
you don't have
not
to
tonight.
go back.
Not tonight.
Not tonight?
Let's not go
Okay,
back.
well,
We're
we
not
got it
going
another
back.
time then.
It's time
If
to
we get to
turn the
600
page.
tonight.
And if that was a bridge too far
still
for
on
you, well, there is a
archive.org.
place in our campaign campaign for you to stand
I don't know
for
about you guys,
country
but Kamala's getting
to
hotter and
stand
hotter as
for
this
our
debate goes
democracy,
on.
to stand for rule of law, and to end the chaos, and to end
Is she
the
getting hotter, or
approach
are we
that
just
is
getting
about
drunker?
attacking the foundations of our
What's up?
democracy because you
That
don't
gut's
like the
looking
outcome.
small and Doesn't
and be
matter.
clear on that
Doesn't
point.
matter. My first
Donald Trump,
statement
the
still
candidate,
stands.
has said in this election there will be a
Settle down, Willie
bloodbath
Brown.
if this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking.
Who's Brandon Nelson,
Let's
and
turn
how
the
does he know
page
about
on
the
this.
pocket chip?
Let's not go back. Let's chart a course
Welcome,
for the
Brandon
future
Nelson.
and not go backwards to the past.
Let me just follow up here.
It was a different term, and it was a term
Deal
that related
denied.
to energy because they have
Now you gotta stop
destroyed our
talking about
energy
Kamala.
business. That
Yeah.
was where bloodbath was. Also, on Charlottesville, that story has been, as you would say, debunked. Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, Jesse, all of these people, they covered it. If they go an extra sentence, they will see it was perfect. It was debunked in almost every newspaper, but they still bring it up, just like they bring 2025 up. They bring all of this stuff up. I asked you,
That
as
was
you talk about...
He said 2025.
Why are
He
we
didn't say
allowing
Project
these
2025.
It says
millions
it's
of
reference
people to come through on the
2025,
southern border? How come
2025.
she's not doing
referring
it? And I'll tell you what I would do, and I would be very proud to do
Take a
it.
sip.
I would say we would both leave this debate right now.
Chester,
I'd like
thank
to
you.
see her go
I
down
licked and subbed.
to
Thank you.
Washington, D.C. during this
It was
debate because we're
appreciated.
wasting a lot of time. Go down to, because she's been so bad, it's so ridiculous. Go down to Washington, D.C. and let her sign a bill to close up the border.
I hate these
because
chatters
they
so
have the
much.
right
Fuck
to
you,
do it.
what do
They
you
don't
think
need
of Pegging?
bills.
Fuck
They
you,
have the
Trey.
right to do
Fuck
it. The
you, Nick.
president
Fuck
of the
you.
United States,
Fuck
you'll
you
get him
all.
out of
No,
bed.
I think Terry's
You'll wake him
onto
up at
something.
4
Tim,
o'clock
what do
in
you
the
think
morning
of
and you
Pegging?
say, come on down to the office. Let's sign a bill. If he signs a bill that the
Rob's
border
like, "What's
is
wrong with
closed, all he
pegging?"
has to do is say it to the
I like
border
pegging.
patrol, who
Y'all
are
probably got
phenomenal.
brewed in on it,
If they
so
do
fuck
that,
y'all
the
too.
border is closed.
Mr.
Those
President.
people are killing many people,
I wanna-
unlike
Migrant
J6.
crime.
We talked immigration here tonight. I do
Migrant
want
crime.
to focus on this next issue to both of you because it really brings us this into focus, truth in these times that we're living in. Mr. President, for 3.5 years after you lost the 2020 election, you repeatedly falsely claimed that you won, many times saying you won in a landslide.
Tell
in the
them
past couple of weeks
it
leading up
was
to
a
this
rigged
debate,
election.
you have said, quote, you lost by a whisker,
Tell them it
that
was
you, quote,
rigged,
didn't
Trump.
quite make it, that
Do
you
it.
came up a little bit short.
I
Are
said
you,
that?
Are you now acknowledging
said
that you
that?
lost in
No, I
2020?
don't acknowledge it.
You
We
did
said that
say that.
sarcastically. You
But
know
those-
that. It was said, oh, we lost by a whisker. That was said sarcastically. Look, there's so much proof. All you have to do is look at it. And they should have sent it back to the legislatures for approval. I got almost 75 million votes, the most votes any sitting president has ever gotten. I was told if I got 63, which is what I got in 2016, you can't be beaten. The election, people should never be thinking about it. An election is fraudulent. We need two things. We need walls. And we have to have it. We have to have borders, and we have to have good elections. Our elections are bad. And a lot of these illegal immigrants coming in, they're trying to get them to vote. They can't even speak English.
Migrant
They don't
crime.
even know what country they're in practically. And these
Yes, that
people
is
are
right.
trying to get them to vote. And that's why they're allowing them to come into our country.
I did watch all of these pieces of video. I didn't
going
detect the
through all the
sarcasm.
sound.
Lost by a
All
whisker.
the
We
sound.
didn't quite make it. And we should just point
That's
out
why
here
when
as
you're like, why
clarification,
does
and
it
you
take
know
you
this,
so long?
you
This
and your
game
allies,
is
60
so many
cases
sounds.
in front of many judges,
So
many
many
of them
sounds.
The judge
Republican,
looked at it.
and said there
They
was
said
no
we didn't have
widespread fraud.
standing. That's the other thing. They said we didn't have standing, a technicality. Can you imagine a system where a person in an election doesn't have standing? The president of the United States doesn't have standing. That's how we lost. If you look at the facts, and I'd love to have you'll do a special on it. I'll
You
show you
underestimate the
Georgia, and I'll
intelligence
show
of the
you
average person.
Wisconsin, and I'll show you Pennsylvania, and I'll show you. We have so many facts and statistics, but you know what? That doesn't matter.
There you go.
Because we have to solve the
There you
problem that we have right now. That's old news. And the problem that we have right now is we have a nation in decline, and they have put it into decline. We have a nation that is dying, David.
Mr. President, thank you.
Boom.
Vice
Roasted.
President Harris, you heard the president there tonight. He said he didn't say that he lost by a whisker. So he still believes he did not lose the election.
That's right.
That was won by President Biden and yourself.
y'all motherfuckers
But I do want to ask
cheated.
you about something that's come up in the last couple
Y'all
of days. This was a post
cheated.
from President Trump about
he
this
who shall
upcoming
not be
election.
named. This
just
guy's
weeks
not
ago.
even
He
a
said, when I
libertarian,
win,
and he knows
those
this.
people who
Now,
cheated,
fuck that.
and then he
Jimmy
lists
Carter,
donors, voters,
2024.
election officials.
Brandon's right.
He says will be
The big
prosecuted to the
diabetes.
fullest
The big
extent of
diabetes
the
is
law,
right.
which will include
I'm a
long-term
vermin
prison
supreme
sentences.
till I die.
One of your
can't
campaign's
Fuck
top
that.
lawyers
Jimmy
responded
Carter,
saying,
man.
we won't let
4
Donald
more
Trump
years.
intimidate us. We won't let let him suppress the vote. Is that what you believe he's trying to do here?
Vermin was better than Jorgensen.
Donald Trump was fired
Agreed.
by 81 million people.
My only respect.
So let's be clear
for
about
Joe
that.
Jorgensen
And clearly, he is
I
having a
was child
very
of
difficult
Jorgensen
time
campaign
processing
that brought
that.
me around.
Can we pause
But
this?
we
Can we
cannot
pause this and
afford to
catch
have
up
a
later?
president
No,
of the United
no.
States
Oh.
who
Just hold your
attempts,
comment.
Talk about
as he did in the
Jorgensen come
past,
commercial.
to upend the will
Whenever.
of the voters in a free and fair election. And I'm going to tell you that I have traveled the world as Vice President of the United States, and world leaders are laughing at Donald Trump. I have talked with military leaders, some
Are
of
you
whom work
sure
with
you wanna run down
and
this
they
line
say
of
you're a
questioning?
disgrace. And when you
I
then
can pull up-
talk in this
I can
way
pull up
in a
videos
presidential
from
debate
when
and
Biden
deny
visited the
what
UK.
over and over again are court cases you have lost because you did in fact lose that election, it leads one to believe that perhaps we do not have in the candidate to my right the
Look at
temperament
that face, dude.
or the ability
Huh?
to not be confused.
He hasn't lost any
about
cases.
fact.
He just said what
That's
he
deeply troubling, and the American
wasn't
people
heard
deserve better.
because he didn't have.
I'll give you 1 minute
standing.
to respond, Mr.
Hey,
President.
let me just say about world
Look,
leaders.
Jake's right. He hasn't
Viktor
looked at her
Orban, one of the
once.
most respected men. They call him a
Wild.
strong man. He's a tough person, smart.
Yeah, he's
Prime
looking
Minister
straight
of
at the camera.
Hungary. They said, "Why is the whole world blowing up?" 3 years ago, it
just the
wasn't.
wrong
Why is
camera.
it blowing up? He said, "Because you need Trump back as president." They were afraid of him.
Oh,
China was
damn.
afraid, and I don't like to use the word
China.
afraid, but I'm just
I
quoting
got
him.
another text from
China
Mom.
was afraid of him.
China.
North Korea was afraid of him. Look at what's going on with North Korea, by the way. He said Russia was afraid of
Oh,
him.
North
I
Korea.
ended the
Russia,
Nord Stream
no.
2 pipeline,
Oh,
and
he said
Biden
China,
put it back
no.
on day one, but he ended the XL pipeline. The XL pipeline in our country, he ended that. But he let the Russians build a pipeline going all over Europe and heading into Germany, the biggest pipeline
Did he
in the
just say
world.
he ended
Look,
the Nord Stream 2
Viktor
pipeline?
Orban said it.
The XL,
he said
yeah,
the
yeah.
most respected,
I mean, he
most
kinda-
feared person
Trump just said
is
that
Donald Trump.
himself,
We had
he
no
ended the Nord
problems when
Stream
Trump
2
was
Welcome,
president.
Will.
But
Welcome,
when this
Will.
weak, pathetic
96
man
followers right
that
now.
you
See if we
saw
can get
at
it
a
to 100.
debate
Share
just
with
a
your
few
friends.
months
Like
ago,
and subscribe,
that if you
guys.
weren't in that debate, he'd be running instead of her. She got no votes. He got 14 million votes. What you did, you talk about a threat to democracy. He got 14 million votes, and they threw him out of office. And you know what? I'll give you a little secret. He hates her. He can't stand her.
Oh.
But he got 14 million votes. They threw him out. She got 0 votes. And when she ran, she was the first one to leave because she failed.
I'm
And now
loving
she's
this,
running.
man.
I don't understand it, but
Mr.
I'm okay
President,
with it
Mr.
because
President, your time is
I
up.
think we're
Thank
going to
you.
do very well.
We've got a lot
Welcome
more
to
to
the
get
fucking
to.
Turning
show.
now to the
Hell
Israel
yeah.
Hamas war
Welcome
and
to
the
the
hostages
fucking
who are still
paradise.
being held.
Was there a China
Americans
we
among
missed?
them.
I think we
Vice
should
President
drink
Harris,
anyway.
in December, you
Let's
said,
drink
quote,
anyway.
Israel has a
Two
right to
Chinas,
defend
okay.
itself, but you added, quote, it matters how, saying international humanitarian law must be respected. Israel must do more to protect innocent civilians. You said that 9
She's
months
gonna
ago. Now an
dodge.
estimated
She's gotta
40,000
dodge.
Palestinians are dead. Nearly
Oh,
100
God.
hostages remain.
Trump
Just
about
last
to
week,
go
Prime
off.
Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said
Trump's
there's
not about
a
to go
deal
off.
in the
He's about to be
making.
very
President
milquetoast
Biden
on
has
this.
not been able to break through the stalemate.
Yeah, it's
How
Israel.
would you do
He
it?
has to dodge
Yeah,
on
it's
this.
true.
Well, let's understand how we got here. On
There we go.
October 7th,
Oh no.
October
Hamas,
7th.
a
October 7th
terrorist
was the beginning of
organization,
the Israel-Palestine conflict.
slaughtered.
October
Yeah, that's
7th
when it
was
all
when it
started.
all started, guys.
Many of them
Wasn't
young
thousands
people
of
who
years
were
of
simply
shit.
attending a concert. Women were
It was all
horribly
sunshine
raped.
and rainbows.
And so,
and
absolutely,
drunk.
I said then, I say now,
Let's
Israel
go.
has
minute
a
maids.
right to defend itself. We
Y'all,
would.
y'all thought
And
we
how
were
it does
fucking
so
around.
matters. Because
thought
it
we
is
were fucking
also
around.
true.
You
These
just said
women
Israel
and
has a
they
right
got
to defend
innocent
them things
Palestinians.
all
All right,
bad.
right.
These are
You're a big
Children,
man.
mothers.
Chill.
What we know is that this war must end. It must end immediately, and the way it will end is we need a ceasefire deal and we need the hostages out. And so we will continue to work around the
Are there
clock
still
on
hostages?
that. Work around the clock, also
How many
understanding
did
that
they
we
find
must
dead?
chart a course
many.
for a two-state solution.
Oh, okay. Then probably
And
not.
in that solution, there must be security for the Israeli people and Israel, and in equal measure for the Palestinians. But the one thing I will assure you always, I will always give Israel the ability to defend itself, in particular as it relates to
Okay, so they
to
need to
Iran
both defend themselves,
and any
but you
threat
don't
that
give them
Iran
both
and its
the ability.
proxies pose to Israel.
Why is that the
but
line?
we must
Why
have a
is,
two-state
like,
solution
we must
where we
support
can
those defenders.
rebuild
Like,
Gaza,
that's
where
a
the
bad line.
Palestinians
She
have
is just
security,
lost that element of the
self-determination,
left.
and the
They're not
dignity they
gonna
so
like what
rightly
she's saying.
deserve.
So
President
we need
Trump,
to
how would
protect
you
both of them, but
negotiate
only
with
fund
Netanyahu
Israel,
and also
which we
Hamas in
give
order to
them
get the
everything. We
hostages
give them
out
everything.
and prevent the killing
Somehow
of
we're
more
also
innocent
funding Hamas
civilians
too,
in
though,
Gaza?
so I don't
If I
know
were
what
president, it would have never
It's my
started.
tax dollars
If I were
versus my
president,
tax dollars.
Russia would have never, ever, I know Putin
Trump's
very
like,
well. He
fuck
would have
the
never,
Israel-Palestine
there was no threat
conflict.
of it
We're
either,
talking
by the way,
about
for 4 years,
Russia.
have gone into Ukraine and killed millions of people when you add it up, far worse than people understand what's going on over there. But when she mentions about Israel, all of a sudden, she hates Israel. She wouldn't even meet with Netanyahu when he went to Congress to make a very important speech. She refused to be there because she was at the sorority party.
Netanyahu
She wanted to go to the
Trump.
sorority party.
It's never-
If
it's
Trump
enough-
she
Trump
hates
has
Israel.
this vote no
If she's
matter what.
president, I
Zionism
believe
on
that
every
Israel
side.
will not
He's
exist
sucking the
within 2
BBP.
years
Listen,
from now. And I've been
listen,
pretty good at
the
predicting. I
strategy-
hope I'm wrong about that one.
The strategy is to
She
make
hates
her defend
Israel.
Israel
At the
so
same
that she
time,
loses
in
the
her own
radical
way,
left.
she
That's
hates
very
the
true.
Arab
it's actually
population
smart
because
strategy.
the whole place is going to get blown up. Arabs, Jewish people, Israel will be gone. It would have never happened. Iran was broke under Donald
N-words,
Trump. Now
everyone.
Iran has $300 billion because they took off all the sanctions that I had.
Don't
Iran
brag
had no
about another
money for
country being
Hamas
broke,
or
you asshole.
Hezbollah or any of the 28 different spheres of terror.
Oh, there it
And they
goes.
are spheres of terror, horrible terror. They had no money. It was a big story, and you know it. You covered it very well, actually. They had no money for terror. They were broke. Now they're a rich nation, and now what they're doing is they're spreading that money around. Look at what's happening with the Houthis and Yemen. Look at what's going on in the Middle East.
Houthis.
This would have never happened. I will get that settled and fast, and I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended. If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president.
Vice President Harris says you
He said, I'm going to get it done early.
That's absolutely
Before
not true.
even
I
becoming
have
president?
my entire career
I'm
and
gonna get
life
that negative 100
supported
days, fuck
Israel
around,
and the
find out.
Israeli people. He knows that. He's trying to, again, divide and distract from the reality, which is it is very well known that Donald Trump is weak and wrong on national security and foreign policy. It is well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one, according to himself.
Oh
It is
my
well known that he said of Putin
That should have been a drink.
that
That should have been
he
a drink
can
right
do
there.
whatever the
So
hell
that's
he
not
wants
really-
and go into Ukraine. It is well known that he said when
on her.
Russia
Hard on
went
her.
into Ukraine, it was brilliant. It is well known he exchanged love letters with Kim Jong-un. And it is absolutely well known that these dictators and autocrats are rooting for you to be president again because they're so clear. They
fucking
can
get it over
manipulate
with.
you
Oh my God,
with
you
flattery and favors. And that is why
You're
This
a
is
weak
a
man,
terrible-
Donnie.
so many
terrible
military leaders who you have
Yeah,
worked
it's a
with
bad
have
argument.
told me
is-
you
know
are
what? You know what? You know what? Actually, guys.
That
Actually,
is
guys.
why we
I like her better with a
understand
dick in
that
her
we
mouth.
have to have a
I like her
president
better
who
with a
is
dick in
not
her mouth.
consistently
Settle down,
weak
Montel
and wrong
Williams.
on
Vice
national
President
security,
Harris.
including the importance of upholding and
101
respecting
live
in
viewers.
highest regard our military.
We broke
Vice
100
President
live
Harris, thank
viewers
you.
tonight. Thank you
And
guys. Like
she's
and
the one
subscribe to the
Yeah.
podcast.
caused
Get us
it.
to 600
That's
on
weak
YouTube.
national
Follow YouTube
security
channel.
by allowing every nation last
Welcome to the
month
drink along.
for the year, 168 different countries
up to PCC
sending
Network,
people
Tim.
into our country. Their
We're getting
crime
there.
rates
We're
are
getting
way
there.
down. Putin endorsed her last week, said, I hope she wins. And I think he meant it because what he's gotten away with is absolutely incredible. It wouldn't have happened with me. The leaders of other countries think that they're weak and incompetent, and they are.
Welcome to
They're
Turtleneck.
grossly incompetent. And I just ask one question. Why does Biden go in and kill the Keystone Pipeline and approve the single biggest deal that Russia's ever made, Nord Stream 2, the biggest pipeline anywhere in the world going to Germany and all over Europe? Because they're weak and they're ineffective. And Biden, by the way,
President
gets paid
Trump,
a lot of money.
Thank you. We have a lot of issues to get to.
We'll be right back with much more of this historic ABC News presidential debate from the National Constitution Center right here in
Holy
Philadelphia. Back in a moment.
shit.
Yeah, I
Wow,
wanna
guys.
get my ass.
Oh my god. This first commercial
Oh.
break took a while, boys.
Let's
Wow.
Man.
yeah, turn down the
Amazing.
volume.
Turn that
First-
shit down.
Yeah,
First
I got
of all,
it.
I want to start here. Just quick halftime. Who do we think is winning on the scoreboard?
Oh, Donald, 100,000%.
Donald Trump, 100%.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Well, and so meanwhile,
On the
I'm
libertarian scoreboard, yeah.
getting text messages from women. Like who know me and
His
they're
mom.
like I'm friends. Yeah, my mom. No, my mom would rather have
His
Trump, but like
stepsister.
no, my stepsister's a sore subject. You know that. Fuck you. That's not cool. Anyway, but
Tell me about your stepbrother.
But listen. They're like acting like the Trump bringing up like people eating animals is not a legitimate thing. And then I sent them a dude. I sent them a dude who went to Chicago City Council and he was like, "Yo, we got Haitians eating ducks and shit out here and pets and shit. So what y'all gonna do about that?" And then they're like, "I don't know, sir. Thank you for your time." So like, it's actually happening, y'all.
Listen, my mom texted me in the middle of the show. She said, "Forget MAGA. His slogan should have been big balls and big walls."
Big balls and big walls is huge. It's huge.
Yeah. I ain't even gonna like. I get all this, but like every like open source Intel Discord server I'm in is calling Kamala winning right now.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
dude. No.
I know. I don't know what's going on here. Like I don't know who's watching.
I'm sure all those Reddit tards really think that Kamala is like so much better. I bet they all think she's destroying him.
All right.
I think she's outperforming how she normally would do. Like her,
Right.
like the actual debate, like how she's structuring the arguments. That's fine. They're not good, but it's just like she is hitting
They're
point.
good if you bought the
point
propaganda.
rebuttal. Point
Nobody's
rebuttal.
Tulsi.
Point rebuttal.
Nobody's Tulsi'd her so far. Like Trump hasn't given her the Tulsi so far, and that's all
He could
that
have
she's worried about.
He could have ended the debate with the Ukraine.
Oh, did we finally make it to commercial? Jesus Christ!
Hold on.
Wait. Yeah,
let
Jake.
Yeah, let Jake go. Yeah, let Jake go.
I'm sorry.
He could have ended the debate with the Ukraine rebuttal. Like when
Yeah.
when she talked about the border wall and the bill that they were trying to get pushed through, he could have ended the debate right there. Like won it outright. But he failed to because he's not. He doesn't have what he used to have, and he can't let go of his ego to actually make a concession on something. And No, go ahead.
No, keep going. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say you think he's slacking. I think there was a recovery there. I think like as a group we were kind of watching it and like, oh, there it is. There's a spark. But you're saying no way.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming back with normal Trump form. And God, this whiskey has gotten to me.
Yeah, no, and that's what I was gonna say. You
That's
want
the
to talk
point of the
about
show.
Yeah, you want to talk about a pivotal point in this debate and in this show was
eating pets.
was that
They
very
killed
moment because Trump. Me and Mitch are on the edge of our seats because I said if Trump mentions Ukraine right here, like you're saying, Jake, he's got it. He's saying the reason we didn't pass it is because you're trying to push billions of dollars to Ukraine. And I was like, I'll finish my drink. And then Trump goes, they're eating pets out in the streets. That's what they're doing. And then that's a rule. So we had to all finish. So we got significantly drunker from that point on.
Round one, baby.
Round one. And round two's coming. Round two's coming. I'm not ready for it. But that was a pivotal moment in this debate and in this drink along. And I hope you're drinking along at home. If you're not drinking along at home, then you're going to show up to work sober tomorrow. And who the fuck are you to show up to work sober tomorrow? You've never done that. You've never been that person. You should show up to work drunk like you always do.
He's trying to. Mara, Mitch, we haven't heard much from you guys. What's up? How you feeling through this? Whichever wants to go first.
Mitch is dying.
You're both betas. Josh, go ahead.
What? You fucking cuss.
Nah.
I mean,
Yeah,
we're
watching.
like,
We're basically seeing Rocky 6 with fucking Trump tonight. It's like, can he go the distance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Can he go to this? He's already knocking motherfuckers out left and right. Like,
Here again,
I will say,
David Muir.
To all you guys puffing along,
Welcome
you
back
can
to this
puff along.
historic ABC
You just
News
have to
presidential
stay
debate tonight. We're
away.
going to continue here, and I want to turn to the war in Ukraine. We're now 2.5 years
I might have to switch
into
to
this
puffing
conflict. Mr. President, it has been the position of the Biden administration that we must defend Ukraine from Russia, from Vladimir Putin, to defend their sovereignty, their democracy, that it's in America's best interest to do so, arguing that if Putin wins, he may be emboldened to move even even further into other countries. You have said you would solve this war in 24 hours. You said so just before the break tonight. How exactly would you do that? And I want to ask you a very simple question tonight. Do you want Ukraine to win this war?
I want the war to stop.
Stop it.
I want to save lives that are being uselessly, people being killed by the millions. It's the millions. It's so much worse than the numbers that you're getting, which are fake numbers. Look, we're in for 250 billion or more.
Your numbers are not
because
good
they
numbers.
don't ask Europe, which is a much bigger beneficiary to getting this thing done than we are. They're in for $150 billion less because Biden and you don't have the courage to ask Europe like I did with NATO. They paid billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars when I said, either you pay up or we're not going to protect you anymore. So that's maybe one of the reasons they don't like
She
me
should
as
agree
much
with
as they
him right
like
here.
weak people.
This would win her some
But
points.
you take a look at what's happening.
can't. She's
We're
not
in
allowed.
for
Anything
250
she
to
has to be the
275 billion,
Freaking
to
wild,
100 to 150.
They're doing a good job of
They
like,
should be forced
moderating the
to
mics.
equalize. With that being said, I want to get the war settled. I know Zelensky very well, and I know Putin very well. I have a good relationship, and they respect your president, okay? They respect me. They don't respect Biden. How would you respect him? Why? For what reason? He hasn't even made a phone call in 2 years to Putin. Hasn't spoken to anybody. They don't even try and get it. That is a war that's dying to be settled. I will get it settled before I even become president. If I win, when I'm president-elect, and what I'll do is I'll speak to one, I'll speak to the other, I'll get them together. That war would have never happened. And in fact, when I saw Putin after I left, unfortunately left because our country has gone to hell. But after I left, when I saw him building up soldiers, he did it after I left, I said, oh, he must be negotiating. It must be a good, strong point of negotiation. Well, it wasn't, because Biden had no idea how to talk to him. He had no idea how to stop it. And now you have millions of people dead, and it's only getting worse, and it could lead to World War III. Don't kid yourself,
Is that
David.
Chase Oliver?
We're playing with
Yeah.
World War
Yeah.
III.
He's live.
And we have a president that we don't even know if he's... Where is our president? We don't even know if he's a president.
And just to clarify
They
here,
threw him out of a campaign like a dog. We don't even know.
Like a
is he our
dog.
president?
Like
but
a
we have a
dog.
president,
Mr. President,
that doesn't know he's alive.
your time is up.
This is a huge.
Just to
that was
clarify
a
the
huge
question,
point. That was a huge
do you believe
point.
it's in the
That was a
U.S.
good
best
point, man.
interest for Ukraine to win this war, yes or no?
I think it's the U.S. best interest to get this war finished and just get it done.
That's a dodge.
Negotiate
That
a
is
deal.
a
Because
dodge.
we have to
Come
stop
on.
all of these human lives from
Get
being
out.
destroyed.
I want to take
Get
this
out.
to Vice President
Let's
Harris. I want to get your thoughts
go.
on
they're obsessed with
support
just
for
winning.
Ukraine
They're
in
just-
this
they just want
moment,
Ukraine to
but
win
also
and nothing
as
else.
Commander-in-Chief, if
That was
elected,
huge.
how would you deal
Keep
with
the
Vladimir
Discord.
Putin, and would it be any different from what we're seeing from President
Like
Biden?
a dog.
Get down.
Well, first of all, it's important to remind the former president you're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me.
Oh.
I
Oh,
believe
yeah.
the reason
Oh,
that
yeah.
Donald Trump
That's
says
gonna
that
Should have
this
been on the
war would
ballot.
be
Bitch,
over
what?
within
Should have
24
been on
hours
the
is because he
fucking
would just give it
ballot,
up.
cunt.
And that's not who we are as Americans. Let's understand what happened here. I actually met with Zelensky a few days before
one.
Russia invaded, tried through force to change territorial boundaries, to defy one of the most
got that?
important international rules and norms, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity. And I met with President Zelensky. I shared with him American intelligence about how he could defend himself. Days later, I went to NATO's eastern flank, to Poland and Romania.
Tim, you got that
And
tweet?
through the work that
Yeah, I
I
do.
and
I have
others
it.
did, we
All
brought
right.
50 countries together
when you were in
to support
Poland,
Ukraine
was
in
he
its
throwing
righteous
cigarettes down
defense.
on you
And
while you were
because of
sucking
our
off?
support, because of the air defense, the ammunition, the artillery, the javelins, the Abrams tanks that we have provided, Ukraine stands as an independent and free country. If Donald Trump were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. And understand what
God,
that would
she's
mean,
stupid.
because Putin's agenda is not just about Ukraine. Understand why the European allies and our NATO allies are so thankful that you are no longer president, and that we understand the importance of the greatest military alliance
Y'all
the
are
world has ever
savages.
known, which is NATO,
Love y'all.
and what we have done to preserve the ability of Zelensky and the Ukrainians to fight for their independence. Otherwise,
for their
Putin would be sitting in Kyiv with his eyes on the rest of Europe, starting with Poland. And why don't you tell the 800,000 Polish Americans right here in Pennsylvania how quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
We don't
Vice
like
President Harris,
Ukraine.
thank you. We've heard from both of you on Ukraine tonight.
Yes,
Afghanistan
really
came up in the
trying to get
last
her
hour.
clips in.
I wanted her to respond to something you said earlier.
Fuck the Ukrainians.
Please, I'll give you a minute here.
Putin would be sitting in Moscow, and he wouldn't have lost 300,000 men
Don't
and
give a
women.
fuck about the
But he
Ukrainians.
would have been sitting in Moscow. Quiet, please. He would have been sitting in Moscow.
Said
much happier than
silence.
he is
Men are
right now.
talking.
But eventually, you know, he's got a thing that other people don't have. He's got nuclear weapons. They don't ever talk about that. He's got nuclear weapons.
He's got a
Nobody
dictator.
ever thinks about that. And
Big time, we got a
eventually,
dick.
maybe he'll use them, and maybe he hasn't been that threatening. But he does have that, something we don't even like to talk about. Nobody likes to talk about it. But just so you understand, they sent her to negotiate peace before this war started. 3 days later, he went in and he started the war because everything they
Rob
said
sharing
was
his own
weak
comment.
and
Nukes
stupid.
ban.
They said the wrong
Wasn't he?
things.
Wasn't
That war
he?
should have
Of course
never
it was.
started. She was the
Who else was it?
emissary. They sent her in to negotiate with Zelensky and Putin, and she did. And the war started 3 days later. And that's the kind of talent we have with her. She's worse than Biden.
107
In my
people
opinion,
watching
I think he's
live.
the worst president in
Guys,
the history
like
of our
and
country.
subscribe.
She goes down as the worst vice
Drink along.
president in the history of our country.
It was
but
a
let me
good
tell
line.
you something. She is a horrible
She went to
negotiator.
negotiate, the war
they
started
sent
3
her
days
in to
later.
negotiate. As soon as they left, Putin did the invasion.
President Trump, thank you. You did bring up something.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
said she went to
Yeah.
negotiate with Vladimir Putin. Vice President Harris, have you ever met Vladimir Putin? Can you clarify tonight?
Oh, they know.
Yet again, I said it at the beginning of this debate, you're going to hear a bunch of lies coming from this fellow. And that is another one.
That's cop
When
versus
I
felon.
went to meet with
Cop
President
versus felon?
Zelensky, I've now
Okay,
met
we'll
with
take
him
that.
over 5 times.
William asked what the rules are. They're on the,
The
side
reality is, it has been about standing
Said
as
Putin, not
America
Zelensky.
always should, as a leader upholding
dodged the
international
question, y'all.
Yeah, she
rules
dodged
and
it.
norms, as a leader who
Y'all keeping
shows
us honest. We
strength,
appreciate it.
understanding that the alliances we have around the world are dependent on our ability to look out for our
gonna be flying
friends
to Europe
and
tomorrow,
not
and I am way
favor
drunker
our
than I wanted
enemies
to be.
because you adore strongmen instead of caring about democracy.
We might need to
That
clear
is
Will
very
up on
much
the
what is
rules
at
here.
stake here. The President of the United States is commander-in-chief.
These rules
And
are
the American
dangerous.
people have a right to rely on a president who understands the significance of America's role and
If
responsibility.
you haven't been clear on the rules,
in terms
110
of
people in
ensuring
here.
that there is stability
This is a
and
drink along.
ensuring
You
we
gotta
stand
participate if
up for
you're
our
in the
principles
chat.
and not sell
You're
them
not
for
participating. You gotta
for
leave.
the benefit
You gotta
of
fucking leave.
self-flattery.
Get the
We
fuck
talked
out of
about
here.
Ukraine and
If you're
Vladimir
not liking
Putin. I
and
do want to talk
subscribing, you're
about
not
Afghanistan. It
participating
came up
in here,
in the
you gotta
first
get the
hour
fuck
of
out.
this
Tim,
debate.
please take the wheel.
I wanted to move on to
I have
Afghanistan.
it, but
Said
he
Trump
has the
did
other
the most
wheel.
amazing thing I've ever seen. He got these countries,
I'm a
the
co-pilot.
28 countries at the time, to pay up. He said, I've never seen. He's the head of NATO. He said,
China.
I've never seen. For years, we were paying almost all
he
of
say
NATO.
China?
We were being
No, he
ripped
did
off
not
by
say China.
European
He did not
nations,
say
both
China.
on trade and on NATO. I got them to pay up by saying one of the statements you made before, if you don't pay, we're not going to protect you.
President
Otherwise,
Trump.
we would have never gotten it. He said it was one of the most incredible jobs that he's ever seen done.
Thank you. I want to turn to Afghanistan.
They cut his
It
mic
came up in the
off. I wanna
first
turn
hour of
to
the debate,
Afghanistan.
And we
Afghanistan.
witnessed
That
a
wasn't 2
poignant moment
minutes.
today on Capitol Hill, honoring the soldiers who died in the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan.
I don't
I do
think
want
he
to
was
ask the
supposed
Vice
to respond right
President, do you believe you bear any responsibility in the way that withdrawal played out?
Well, I will tell you, I agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan.
That was
Four
Trump's
presidents
decision. Okay.
said they would,
We're-
and Joe Biden
okay.
did.
We're
And as a
encroaching
result,
upon a dodge.
America's taxpayers are not paying the $300 million a day we
That's a
were paying for
dodge.
that endless war.
Yet she's,
And as of
she's
today,
supported by
there's
all
not
the people
one
who want
member
to stay in
of the United
Afghanistan
States
and
military
stay
who is
in
in
Afghanistan for
active duty
20-something
in a
years.
combat zone in
Wait
any
for
war
it.
zone
Those are
around
people
the world
voting
the
for
first
her.
time this century. But let's understand
I'm
how
Rob's
we got
stepsister. I'm
to
not
where
quite
we are.
Rob, but
Donald Trump, when
he's
he
in
was
it.
Talk
president,
about my stepsister.
negotiated one of the weakest deals you can imagine. He calls himself a deal maker. Even his national security advisor said it was a weak, terrible deal. And here's how it went down.
You
He
and I,
bypassed the
Brandon,
Afghan government.
Brandon and
He
I
negotiated
are linked.
directly with a terrorist
Same
organization
wavelength.
called the Taliban. The negotiation involved the Taliban getting 5,000 Taliban terrorists released. And get this,
Okay.
and The president at the time
in regards to
invited the
Taliban
Taliban
terrorists,
to Camp David.
You know, there's a country just north of
a place
Afghanistan.
of storied significance
you
for
know how
us
I know
as
you're gay?
Americans, a
The
place
last 10
where we
seconds you were
honor
doing the
the
same
importance of
exact
American
motions as
diplomacy, where we invite and receive
What?
respected
were both
world
like this.
leaders.
You both looked up at the
And
same time.
This
Super gay.
former president, as president,
Why does it
invited
matter?
them
Why does it matter if any of
to
us are gay?
Camp David because he
Not
does
gay.
not
Mara's
again
openly
appreciate
gay.
the
It's fine.
role
That is
and
correct. Mitch is in
responsibility
the closet.
of the President of the United States.
You know what?
To
like
be
Norm
commander
Macdonald.
in chief
No,
with
you
a
know what?
level of respect.
Just for that,
and this
Tim,
gets
me
back
and
to
Mara
the point of how he
are
has
gonna make out
consistently
in Grand Rapids,
disparaged and
Michigan.
demeaned members of our military, fallen soldiers, and the work that we must do to uphold the strength
commit to the
and the
bit.
respect of the United States of America around the world.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
That's
President
gross.
Trump, your response to her saying that
You are
began the
smooth like
negotiations-
I'm getting in on this too now.
If you take a look at
smooth.
that,
Oh, we're doing
Taliban
this. This is gonna be a three-way
the
makeout session.
Taliban
Me,
was
Mar, and
killing
Rob.
our soldiers.
I'm not letting you get away with
snipers.
They created it.
And I got
Mara might
involved
bail out,
with the
Rob. I'm
Taliban
gonna come in full
because
force
the
for that
Taliban
booty.
was doing the killing. That's
You're
the
gonna have
fighting
to
force
shave your
within
beard. You're gonna
Afghanistan.
have
They
to
don't
shave
bother
your
doing
beard.
that
I'm not
because
with
you know, they
that.
deal with the wrong people
I'm gonna
all the
like
time.
you,
But
and I'm
I
gonna
got
lunch you.
involved.
So
And
we can do this the
Abdul
easy way.
is the head
Really,
of the
Tim,
Taliban.
like,
He
you
is still the
said.
head of the
Way.
Taliban.
The
And I
choice is
told
yours,
Abdul,
is all
don't
I'm
do it
saying.
anymore. You do it
But we
anymore,
gotta-
you're going to have
we
problems.
gotta do it if
and he
we
said,
eat
why
the
do you send
Pocky
me a
chips.
picture of my house? I
All
said,
right,
you're going to
chill,
have to
chill.
figure that out, Abdul.
Oh,
Do it while
and
we're
for
eating the
18
Pocky
months,
chips.
we had
I'm
nobody
pass
killed.
the Pocky
We did
chip
have
to
an
you.
agreement negotiated by Mike Pompeo. It was
We're
a
gonna
very good
snowball the
agreement.
Pocky.
The reason it was good, it was we were getting out. We would have been out faster than them, but we wouldn't have lost the soldiers. We wouldn't have left many Americans behind, and we wouldn't have left $85 billion worth of brand new, beautiful military equipment behind.
It was
And
actually
just to
91.
finish,
I thought it was
they
91 million.
blew it.
91
The
billion.
but I'm
agreement
not-
said you have to
I'm
do
not
this,
responsible
this,
enough
this,
to own
this, this,
an
and
ale.
they didn't do it. They didn't do it. The
I'm
agreement
you.
was terminated
On the
by
other
us
side of that
because
computer
they didn't
You
do
are not
what they were supposed to do.
responsible enough to own
I wanna
And
move on.
these people did the worst withdrawal and, in my opinion, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And by the way, that's why Russia attacked Ukraine, because they saw how incompetent
Please
she
talk about
and her
China.
boss are.
President Trump, thank you. I want to move on now to race and politics in this country.
Oh,
Mr.
God.
President, you recently said of Vice President
here
Harris,
we
quote,
go.
"I
Every
didn't
time
know
we
she
get
was black until a
transing
number of
the
years ago when she
Every
happened
time
to be
we
true
get
black,
Go
and
back
now
to
she wants to be
transing
known
the
as black."
immigrants. Yeah.
I want to ask a bigger picture question here tonight. Why do you believe it's appropriate to weigh in on the racial identity of your opponent?
I don't, and I don't care. I don't care what she is. I don't care.
Yep.
You make a big deal out of something. I couldn't care less. Whatever she wants to
Smiling.
be is okay with me.
But those were your words, so I'm
I don't
asking.
know. I don't know. I mean, all I can say is I read where she was not black, that she put out. And I'll say that.
Oh!
I read that she was black, and that's okay. That's okay with me. That's up to her. That's up to her.
She's a
Vice President
whore.
Harris, your thoughts?
Under a whore.
Damn.
I think it's, I mean, honestly, I think it's a tragedy that we have someone who
That she puts
wants
out.
to be president
She
who
puts
has
out. Who
consistently,
you put
over the
out?
course of his career,
Do you put out though?
attempted to use race to divide the
he puts
American
out.
people.
Oh, you think you
You
put
know, I
out
do
though?
believe that the vast majority of us know that we have so much more in common than what separates us, and we don't want
Wow.
this kind of approach.
I heard you
that
separated
is
them
constantly
accusing the
trying to
opposite
divide
side
of what
us,
you're
and
doing.
especially
Separated
by
them cheeks.
race. And let's remember,
She's
how
awful.
Donald Trump started. He was a land. He owned land. He owned buildings, and he was
He was
investigated
He's like
because
on the
A
road.
private
refused to
business
hand
owner? A
Hey,
real estate
property to
mogul?
black families.
Let's not forget how
Let's
Donald
remember
Trump
this is
started
the
out. He
same
was grabbing
individual
pussies left and right. He
who
also
took out
put
a
out.
full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the
hand out.
execution
Oh,
of 5 young black and Latino boys who were innocent, the Central Park 5.
So stupid.
Took out a full-page ad calling for their execution. This is the same individual who spread
Well,
birther
Pickles says,
lies about the first black president of the United States. And
And
I think the American people
Oh
want better than that. Want better than this.
I don't think so.
Want someone who understands, as I do, I travel our country. We see in each other a friend. We see in each other a neighbor. We don't want a leader who is constantly trying to have Americans point their fingers at each other. I meet with people all the time.
You
who
are
tell
that.
me, can we please just have discourse about how we're going to invest in the aspirations and the ambitions and the dreams of the American people? Knowing that regardless of people's color or the language their grandmother speaks, we all have the same dreams and aspirations and want a president who invests in those, not in hate and division.
The government doesn't do that.
Lindsay?
President
That's
Trump, this
not
is
your
now your
job.
third time.
This is the most divisive presidency in the history of our country. There's
Oh.
never been anything like it.
As
They're
libertarians,
destroying
we
our
should all
country.
drink for this. We
And they
should all
come
drink
up
for
with
this. I'm just
things
saying.
like what she just said.
You know.
I'm going to
Going
drink
back
because I want
many,
to
many
drink.
years, when a lot of people, including Mayor
I wanted to
Bloomberg,
finish
agreed
it.
with me on the
This is
Central
the most
Park fight,
important
they
election in
admitted,
presidential
they said
history.
they pled guilty. And
Don't
I
worry,
said,
the
well,
next
if they
one will be
pled
more
guilty, they
important, though.
badly hurt a person, killed a person ultimately. And if they pled guilty, then they pled, we're not guilty. But this is a person that
She's
has to
both.
stretch
She's
back
both.
years, 40, 50 years ago, because there's nothing now. I built one of the greatest economies in the history of the world, and I'm going to build it again. It's going to be bigger, better, and stronger. But they're destroying our economy. They have no idea what a good economy is. Their oil
You know
policies,
what, though?
every single policy.
Oh.
And remember this. She is
wrong.
Biden.
They are the
You know,
same
she's
color
trying to
on
get away
St.
from
Charles.
Biden. I don't know the gentleman.
Congratulations.
She is Biden.
You made it to
The
one of the
worst
all-time greatest
inflation
posts
we've
on the
ever had.
SwampCast.
A horrible economy
Oh my
because
God.
inflation has made it so bad.
Oh my
Welcome to
God.
the
She can't get away with that.
Absolutely destroyed.
Respond to that, though. I want to just respond.
Oh, I
briefly.
want to respond.
Clearly,
I want to respond.
and I am certainly
did you
not
just cackle?
Donald Trump.
A little bit.
And what I do offer
No.
is a new
Just go ahead and
generation of
drink.
leadership for our country.
You
One
don't
who
offer
believes
anything new. You've
in
been there
what
for
is
3
possible.
fucking
One who
years.
brings a sense of optimism
No,
about what we
I know
can
I've been
do
there for
instead
3
of
years.
She's about
always
to cackle. Look at
disparaging
her.
the American people.
wants-
She's so
To be honest,
I
she's only
believe in
cackled
what we can
once.
do to
She's only
She's so
really
joyous.
cackled
strengthen
once.
our small businesses, which
really
is why
wants to.
I
She's
have a
talking about
plan.
joy
Let's
and
talk
optimism
about
right
our
now.
plans and let's compare the plans. I have a plan to give startup businesses $50,000 tax deduction, to pursue their ambitions, their innovation, their ideas, their hard work. I have a
Tim,
plan.
can you seriously pause this right now? Because I'm not
No.
going to
$6,000
remember this point.
families for the
I'm
first
not
year
going
of
to
your
remember this
child's
point.
life.
Write it
to
down.
help you in that most critical stage of your child's
on a
development.
computer.
I have a plan that
Get a
is
note-
about
a notes
allowing people to be
app.
able to pursue what has been fleeting in terms of the American dream by offering a help with down payment of $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers. That's the kind of conversation, I believe, David, that people really want tonight, as opposed to a conversation that is constantly about belittling and name-calling. Let's turn the
We need a new
page
name.
Vice President
and move
Harris,
forward.
thank you. Let's turn to policy.
President
Let's
Trump,
turn back
we
to
have
policy.
to move on.
Thank
President
God.
Trump,
Let's turn to policy,
She has
please.
a plan to defund the police. She
Yes.
has a plan to confiscate everybody's gun.
President
Yeah.
Trump,
She
we
has
do
a
have to
plan
move
to
on to
not
other
allow
issues.
fracking in Pennsylvania or anywhere else.
I have a
That's what her
dream.
plan
Hey.
is until just recently.
Toothless
I
Page.
Lindsay, go ahead.
responded
It's
to-
evolving.
the
We
president
need
has
to hear
said
your
something
dreams.
twice that I need to respond
No,
to.
We need
I'm
to
sorry.
We're going off the rails now.
President Trump, this is now your third time.
Shut up. I can't hear you.
Also known as
gonna
Obamacare,
cut you
you
off.
have failed to accomplish that. You now say you're going to keep Obamacare, quote, unless we can do something much better. Last month, you said, quote, we're working on it. So tonight, 9 years after you first started
Debate went
running, do you have
crazy
a
and so
plan?
did we.
And can you tell us what it is?
Obamacare was lousy health care. Always was. It's not very good today.
Let's go.
And I said that if we come up with
Are
something,
we sure
and
they're
we
not
are
playing a
working on
drinking
things,
game behind the
we're going to
scenes?
do it and we're going to replace it. But remember
Were the
this.
script
I
writers playing a
inherited
drinking game?
Obamacare because Democrats wouldn't change it. They wouldn't vote for it. They were unanimous. They wouldn't vote to change it. If they would have
wouldn't
done
do
that,
it.
we would have had a much better plan than Obamacare. But the Democrats came up. They wouldn't vote for it. I had a choice to make when I was president. Do I save it and make it as good as it can be? Never going to be great. or do I let it rot? And I felt I had an obligation, even though politically it would have been good to just let it rot and let
121
it
people
go
watching
away.
strong.
I
Like him,
decided, and I told my people, the top people, and they're very good people. I have a lot of good people in this
Thank you
administration.
all 121 of
Not
you
the
for
bad
coming
ones. We
out
had some real
tonight.
bad ones too, and so do they. They have really bad ones. The difference is they don't get rid of
are
them. But let me
really
just
bad people.
explain. I
We
had
got
a
really
choice
good
to make.
people.
Do I save it and make
Good
it
people
as
on
good
all
as it can
sides.
be, or do I let it rot? And I saved it. I did the right thing. But it's still never
Was
going
it
to
the
be
right
great,
thing
and it's
though,
too
Dottie?
expensive for people. And what we want to do is we're looking at different plans. If we can come up with a plan that's going to cost our people, our population, less money, and be better health care than Obamacare, then I would absolutely do it. But until then, I'd run it as good as it can be run.
So
Rob, we
just
gotta
yes or no, you
ambush
still do not
Jeremy
have a plan.
Kaufman,
I have
ambush
concepts of a
interview
plan.
Stop
I'm not
derailing.
president right now. But if
I'm not president. It's not my
we
plan
come
to be
up
running
with
right
something,
now.
I would only change
No,
it
you
if
were
we
He may
come
be
up with
president.
something
I'll run the
that's
plan,
better
but
and
unless
less
I'm not president, I
expensive.
can't run
And
the
there are
plan.
concepts
them
and
election
options
results are
we
fake,
have
Josh.
to do that.
Put me in,
and you'll
coach.
be
I'll
hearing
make the
about it in the
touchdown.
not too distant future.
Vice President Harris, in 2017, you supported Bernie Sanders' proposal to do away with private insurance and create a government-run healthcare system. 2 years later, you proposed a plan that included a private insurance option. What is your plan today?
Well, first of all, I absolutely support, and over the last 4 years as vice president, private healthcare options. But what we need to do is maintain and grow the Affordable Care Act. But I'll get to that, Lindsay. I just need to respond to a previous point that the former president has made. I've made very clear my
he
position
got
on
under her
fracking.
skin.
And then this business about taking
Yeah.
everyone's guns away. Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away. So
Kamala
stop
Harris
with
is
the
a
continuous
gun
lying
owner?
about this stuff. As it relates to the Affordable Care Act, understand,
She just lost David
look at the
Hobbs' vote.
history to
Black
know
man
where
in prison
people
after
stand.
their sentence?
When Donald Trump was president, 60 times he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act.
He
60
knew exactly
times. I was
what
a
he was
senator
doing. She
at the
took the
time.
bait.
When I will never forget the early morning hours when it was up for a vote in the United States Senate, and the late, great John McCain, who you have disparaged
Wow.
as
Yeah,
being
John McCain
you
sucks.
don't like him, you
John
said
McCain
at the
was
time
ass.
because he
She's
got caught.
defending
He was
John
an
McCain.
American hero. The late
This
great
is
John
wild.
McCain, I will
The
never
late,
forget
great
that night.
war
Walked onto the
monger,
Senate floor and said, "No, you
Vietnamese
don't.
raper John McCain.
No, you don't. No, you don't get rid of the Affordable Care Act. You have no plan." And what the Affordable Care Act has done is eliminate the ability of insurance companies to deny people with pre-existing conditions. I don't have to tell the people watching tonight, you remember what that was like? Remember when an insurance company could deny if a child had asthma, if someone was a breast cancer survivor, if a grandparent had diabetes? And thankfully, as I've been vice president, and we, over the last 4 years, have strengthened the Affordable Care Act, we have allowed for the first time Medicare to negotiate drug prices on behalf of you, the American people. Donald Trump said he was going to allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices. He never did. We
Oh my
did.
God, High Corn Pop.
And now we have capped the cost of
Oh my
insulin
God,
at
High Corn Pop.
$35 a month.
High Corn
Since
Pop.
I've been vice president,
Corn
we have
Pop's
capped
a
the
good
cost of
dude.
prescription medication for seniors at
Good dude.
$2,000 a year. And when I am president,
Joe
we will
Biden
do
lied
that
about
for
that,
all
man.
people,
I
understanding
seriously cannot
that
wait
the
for
value
Saturday
I
Night
bring
Live
to
skit
this
version of this.
is that access to health care should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it.
damn it,
And the plan has
Oh,
to
God.
be to strengthen the Affordable Care
Shout
Act,
out to
not
Steve and
get rid of
Nikayla.
it.
The
That's
winner of
just
tonight's
pro-us
debate
in
is
terms of where
Voyager
Donald
1
Trump
for
stands
being
on
the
that.
I want to move
furthest
to an
object
issue
from
that's
Earth.
important for a
She
lot
made a
of
mistake. At number one, John McCain fought Obamacare for 10 years.
Yep.
But it wasn't only him. It were all of the Democrats that kept it going. And you know what?
Also,
We
if
can do
any of
much
y'all
better
follow
than
Antonio
Obamacare. Much
Brown on
less
Twitter,
money.
go
But she
follow
won't
Antonio
improve
Brown on Twitter.
private
We're gonna pull it
insurance
up.
for
That shit's
We're
Please
gonna
go
pull it
follow
up.
medical
Antonio
insurance.
Brown.
That is-
Twitter.
that
Oh my
is-
God.
That's another thing she doesn't want to get.
President
People
Trump.
are paying privately for insurance.
AB's
that have
going
worked hard
wild right
and
now
made
on
money,
X.
and they want to have private. She wants
Wild.
everybody to be on government insurance, where you wait 6 months for an operation that you need immediately.
President Trump, thank you. We have another issue
That's
that we'd like to
huge.
get to
That
that's
is
important
huge
for a
for,
number of
like
Americans,
us,
in particular
to give
younger
his-
voters, and
to
that's
give him
climate
insight.
change. President
Like,
Trump,
it's
with
the
regard
difference
to the
in the whole
environment, you say
economy.
that we have to
It's the
have
difference
clean
in the
air
whole
and clean
economy
water. Vice President Harris,
least
you
he
call climate
understands
change an
that little
existential
part,
threat. The
but
question to you
do it
both tonight
across
is what
everything.
would you do to fight climate change? And Vice President Harris, we'll start with you. 1 minute for for you each?
Well, the former president had said the climate change is a hoax.
Climate change.
And
It is.
what we
It
know
is
is that it
climate
is
change.
very real. You ask anyone who lives in a state who has experienced these extreme weather occurrences, who now is either being denied home insurance or it's being jacked up. You ask anybody who has been the victim of what that means in terms of losing their home, having nowhere to go. We know that we can actually deal with this issue. The young people of America care deeply about this issue. And I am proud that as vice president over the last 4
Too bad
years,
they don't
we
vote.
have invested $1 trillion in a clean energy economy
Now,
while we have
fuck
also
you, fuck you,
increased
fuck
domestic
you.
gas production
This- oh my
to historic
God.
levels. We have created over
Rob gets so angry.
800,000 new
I'm
manufacturing
so
jobs.
emotional.
While I have been
I
vice
understand,
president,
Rob,
we have
but there's
invested
nothing we
in
can
clean
do.
energy.
We're
to
a
the point that we
Florida-based
are
podcast. We
opening
deal
up
with hurricanes
factories
every
around
fucking
the world.
season.
Donald Trump said he
And
was
she's-
going to create
He
manufacturing
said
jobs.
talking about
We
climate
lost
change.
manufacturing
Shit.
jobs.
I'm just curious on
And
why
I'm
you're
also
acting like a
proud
female on
to
her
have the
period is
endorsement
all.
of the United Auto
It's the
Workers
rap
and Sean
music.
Fain,
I
who
know.
also know that part of building
not
a
eating
clean
enough
energy
pat with all of
economy
his fellow
includes
Haitians.
investing in American-made products, American
Breathe in,
automobiles.
breathe
It
Not
in,
enough
includes
pussy in his life. See what he
growing
does there,
what we
motherfucker?
can do around
Breathe
American
in,
manufacturing
breathe
and
in.
opening
mic
up
isn't
auto
good enough
plants,
for me to
not
hear what
closing
you're
them like
saying.
happened
Fuck
under
you.
Donald Trump.
Vice President Harris,
What,
thank
Rob?
you.
That didn't happen under
Maybe it's
Donald
your
Trump. Let me
Walmart
just tell you, they
connection.
lost
Why don't
10,000
you
My,
update
my
that
manufacturing
connection's
jobs
been
Starlink like
fine.
Jake?
My
last month.
connection's been
It's
Oh,
fine.
now you
going.
can hear
They're
me, you
all
fucking
leaving.
loser.
They're
I'll see you
building
next
big
week when I
auto
got a
plants in
$300
Mexico.
Fucking
mic,
loser
In many
ass Cowboys
cases,
fan.
in
Shut your
Chill,
fucking
China.
poor
chill.
They're
mouth.
building
Chill.
these massive plants, and
Tim,
they think
you
they're going
have
to sell
power
their cars
here.
into the United States
I
because
turned
of
them down.
these people. What they have given to China
turn me
is
down, I'll turn me
unbelievable.
up.
But we're not going to let
We're
that.
going all
We'll
the
put
way up.
tariffs on those cars so
All
they
the
can't
way
come
up.
into our country.
Easy, I'll
because
fucking
they will
grab a
kill
wheel too if I
United
have
Auto
to.
Workers and any auto worker, whether it's in Detroit
like
or South
goddamn
Carolina
Detroit
or any other
Lions.
place. What they've done to
Fuck yeah, go
business and
Lions.
manufacturing in this country is horrible.
Good game
We
last
have
week. Good
nothing
game last week. Good
because
game
they,
week
they
one.
refuse. You know, Biden doesn't go after people because
Cowboys caught a
supposedly
dub.
China
I'll
paid him millions
I'll
of
give
dollars.
Rob
He's
his-
afraid to do it between
Rob
him and his
his
son.
Joe.
They get all
Cowboys
this
caught a
money
dub.
from Ukraine.
Re-signed Dak.
They get all this money
Josh,
from
our
all of these
regularly
different
scheduled
countries,
programmer.
and then you wonder why is he so loyal to this one, that one, Ukraine, China? Why is he? Why did he get $3.5 million
China.
from the mayor of
God
Moscow?
damn it, I gotta go get another
Why did
beer
he get-
now?
Why did she pay him $3.5 million? This is a crooked administration, and they're selling our country down the tubes.
President Trump, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be
Down
right
the
back with
tube.
closing statements from both of our candidates in historic
Oh,
night as
thank
ABC
fucking
News
God.
closes the debate.
God.
Holy shit. Fuck me.
Oh,
I'm about to
God.
die.
Is it over?
I'm
No, we
going
have
Nah,
closing
we have
statements.
closing statements.
Closing statements.
Donald
My
Trump gets
polio
the
needs to
final
get-
word. Donald Trump gets the final
Donald
word
Trump
due to
gets
a
the
coin
final
The
toss.
word.
final word. Oh man,
Please,
Donald Trump
no.
about to fucking eviscerate Kamala Harris. Y'all ready for a Murder Boys live
right.
on YouTube?
Okay,
Stream
okay.
live.
I disagree with you.
Wait,
I disagree.
all right, Tim. Can I get
What?
can I get a couple minutes because I wrote down my notes here. I don't know if anyone else wrote down their notes.
I'm watching the Baywatch commercial.
I don't
Go
have
ahead.
any
I got
notes.
some notes for you right here, Rob.
Oh, wait. Let's watch.
I do have like one of
no,
those.
no.
fancy-ass
Let's
pens.
all watch the Baywatch commercial.
Rob, I appreciate your
Hey!
solidarity with the Dallas Cowboys, man. I'm from
So-
Dallas originally.
Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, we had a good win. We had a good win this weekend.
Oh,
Good win this weekend.
No.
I was wait. I was gonna wear my normal like green Swamp Gators jersey, but I was like, look, Dallas Cowboys jersey fitting me a little bit better. Y'all been making me drink. I'm gaining a little weight, so I gotta wear the Dallas Cowboys jersey.
I
a little
appreciate
bit
it.
today.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it, man. I
Yeah.
hate being a Cowboys fan, but I am.
Yeah, kind of same here. Kind of same here. It's a long
Hate
story.
it. Hate it. Feel the hate flow through you. That's what I'm talking about.
All right,
baby.
so one.
Go Birds.
What? Hey, can we turn the volume on the commercial bullshit off?
off.
Real quick?
It's off. What do you want?
Oh, well, then why the fuck can I hear it, Tim? Jesus
you
fucking
suck.
Christ!
Say
You're
your
a
point.
fucking gay Cowboys fan.
No. Now I can. Now it's off. Now it's completely off. I
It's
can.
not.
I can't hear. Well,
But keep going.
You couldn't hear Dak Prescott sucking
okay,
dick.
it's down a little bit. All right, so I wrote if Kamala Harris gave a tax break up up front, it'd be in the form of like some government subsidy. Which it's not going to be a tax cut. It's going to be a subsidy, which is going to be inflation. It's going to be more printing of the money at the Federal Reserve. It's going to be more inflation, and it's going to cost you money via inflation at the end of the day. That's what I think is going to happen.
And if Trump wins, you get tariffs. You get taxed either way.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
way.
So I had that under here. I had that on. So Trump wins.
Said he'd free Ross though.
You get tariffs. Yeah, yeah. So at least he's putting a libertarian in a cabinet position now. And okay. So
this libertarian in a cabinet position, most specifically, this libertarian.
Libertarian. We'll see what happens there.
This one right here.
Whatever that blue sign might say.
I don't believe him. Now, Kamala was talking about this kind of deal. That's cronyism, man. That's not capitalism. That's government working with corporations, picking favorites, saying we're gonna fund these people. We're not gonna fund these people because they don't agree with us or whatever. And then and that's how you end up in this situation. It's called fascism, guys. That's what's going on. That's if you're voting for Kamala Harris, that's what you're supporting.
And
a matter of fact, if you're voting for Donald Trump, you probably support that in some form or fashion.
What?
Just a little bit lesser. Just
That's
a little bit
crazy,
lesser.
Rob. You're talking crazy.
Before the commercial comes back, I want to share this thing. Democrats have been in office 12 out of the last 16 years, and they say they want change.
I hope he hate me.
And you know what?
Like it is.
Let's all take a sip for that.
Josh follows football like I do, and if you follow football, everyone thought AB was absolutely butt fucking insane as of like a couple years ago. Like he took his pads off, he took his jersey off in the middle of a game and
was
left.
Insane.
He just
quit,
left.
He quit mid-game.
Yeah, he quit mid-game, and it's like, dude, you're fucking insane. But when he makes tweets like this, I'm like, you know what? Maybe he was just protecting his body. I don't know. I think he was just doing what's best for himself.
I don't know.
You gotta do you.
CTESPN is a real thing. That's all I'm saying.
That's good. CTESPN.
CTESPN.
Now, should I make that into a shirt?
No, he's got it. He's already got it like tagged. I think he's got a trademark too for like resale purposes.
You should
but,
do
like,
it anyway, and when he sues you, just retweet him and say IP is fake and gay.
I could always just throw it up on TeePublic.
Yeah, tell him IP is fake and gay like he is.
Just do it, dude. Just do
I
it.
could always
we're back.
throw it up on TeePublic, and then as soon as it's taken.
All right, we're back. We're
Here
back. We're
again,
back. Closing
David
statements.
Muir and Lindsay Davis.
Welcome back tonight. The time has come for closing statements, and Vice President
Thank
Harris, we
fucking
begin with
God.
So I think you've heard tonight two very different visions for our country. One that is focused on the future, and the other that is focused on the past.
Yeah,
and an attempt to take us backward. But we're not going back. And I
We're
do
not
believe
going
that
back.
the American people
We're not
we all have
going
so
back.
much more in common than what separates
It
us.
bangs, dude.
And we can chart a new way forward. And a vision of that includes having a plan, understanding the aspirations, the dreams, the hopes, the ambition of the American people, which is why I intend to create an opportunity economy, investing in small businesses, in new
I wanna
families,
kill my
in what we
fucking
can do
self right
around
now.
protecting seniors, what we can do that is about giving hardworking folks a break and bringing down the cost of living. I believe in what we can do together. That is about
Commonomics is
sustaining
when you
America's
do
standing
work.
in the world. and
Kamala
ensuring that
Nomics
we
is
have the
scaring me more than
respect that we
Bidenomics
so
ever
rightly
did.
deserve, including
Kamalanomics is when
respecting
you
our
do work
military and ensuring
receive
we have the most
money
lethal
in
fighting
exchange
force
for goods
in
and
the
services.
world.
Kamala
I will be a
Harris, where you
president
do
that will
work and get
protect our
pegged for your
fundamental rights and
services.
freedoms, including the right of a
like
woman
Tim?
to make
Yeah, Tim, I
decisions
bet
about
you
her
like
own body
Yeah,
and
Tim's
not
like
have her
me. That sounds
government
exciting.
tell her what to do.
We
I'll
call
tell
that
you,
Brandy
I
Nomics
started
in my
my
house.
career as a
my
prosecutor. I was a
God.
DA,
See
I
what
was an
y'all
attorney
started.
general, a United
It
States
is
senator,
spread
and now vice
like a
president. I've only
cancer.
had one client, the people. And I'll tell you, as a prosecutor, I never asked a victim
sorry
or a
about that.
witness,
Yep.
are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay? And that's the kind of president we need right now. Someone who cares about you and is not putting themselves
If the fucking
first.
politician asks
I
me if I'm
intend to be
okay
a
with it, my
president
fucking
for all
therapist, I'm
Americans.
concerned.
and
I don't know.
focus
What do y'all
on what
think?
we can do over the next 10 and 20 years to build back up
You're
our
not even gonna
country
be in
by
office in 10
investing
to
right
20
now
years, you fucking
in you, the
stupid
American
bitch.
people.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump?
So she just started by saying she's going to do this, she's going to do that, she's going to do all these wonderful things.
Get her, dude.
Why hasn't she done it? She's been there for 3.5 years. They've had
There we
3.5
go.
years to fix the border. They've had 3.5 years to create jobs and all the things we talked about. Why hasn't she done it? She should leave right now, go down to that beautiful White House, go to the Capitol, get everyone together and do the things you want to do, but you haven't done it and you won't do it because you believe in things that the American people don't believe in. You believe in things like we're not going to frack. We're not going to take fossil fuel. We're not going to do things that are going to make this country strong, whether you like it or not.
I'm gonna come.
Germany tried that, and within 1 year, they were back to building normal energy plants. We're not ready for it. We can't sacrifice our country for the sake of bad vision. But I just ask one simple question. Why didn't she do it? We're a failing nation. We're a nation that's in serious decline. We're being laughed at all over the world. All over the world, they're laughed. I know the leaders very well. They're coming to see me. They call me. We're laughed at all over the world. They don't understand what happened to us as a nation. We're not a leader. We don't have any idea what's going on. We have wars going on in the Middle East. We have wars going on with Russia and Ukraine.
Endless
We're going to end
wars.
up in a third world war, and it'll be a war like no other because of nuclear weapons, the power of weaponry.
wait to go,
I
guys.
rebuilt our entire military. She gave a
think
lot
I've
of
got
it
a
away
pilot job?
to the Taliban. She gave it to Afghanistan. What these people have done to our country, and maybe toughest of all, is allowing millions of people to come into our country. Many of them are criminals, and they're destroying our country. The worst president, the worst vice
migrant
president
crime, drink.
in the history of our country.
President Trump, thank you. And that is our ABC News presidential debate from here in Philadelphia.
Damn,
at the
they
National
gave him the last
Constitution Center.
word?
I'm
Yeah,
Linda.
yeah, yeah. He won
And
the
I'm
coin
David
flip.
Muir. Thank you
He
for
won the
watching
coin
here in the
flip.
U.S. and all over the world, and from all of us here at ABC News. Good night.
Wow. We did it, guys. This is not supposed to be this loud. Hold on. Crank it down. Okay,
down.
there we go. Yeah,
There
yeah.
you go.
Ow. Fuck,
Music-
that hurt my ear.
Music by the wonderful Christian Pearly. All right, let's start with our guest. Jake, what did you think? The debate is over. Did it go like you expected? Are you drunk?
I'm pretty drunk right now. I think the winner of the debate was the audience and everybody on this stream.
There we go.
And
Let's
my
go.
bottle of whiskey upstairs is half empty at this point. So, it was ridiculous. I mean, it was as stupid as everybody thought it would be. There's no actual winners. Nothing about this debate was actually good. No one made any good, actually good points that they could back up with policy that they were actually behind in previous years. So it's all just horse shit is basically what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's keep rotating around. We'll get to
So,
you. Okay,
real
you go
quickly.
now. There you go.
Yeah,
Not a
next
beta.
one's to
Not
go.
a beta. Go ahead.
So, like, I feel like Donald Trump was the winner here for one reason and one reason alone.
Yeah.
Everything that maybe he didn't look good on, it was all the things that would only make him look bad to people that he already hates. And in turn, he managed to coax Kamala a few times into saying things that would make her look bad to her constituents.
Okay, that's
So,
fair.
like, from a strategic standpoint, I feel like
So
Trump probably
are you saying
won
they
because of
both
that.
just played to their own base? Is that basically what you're saying?
They both played to their own base. The problem is Trump found a way to coax Kamala, like when he managed to get her to say, "I own guns, we're not taking anyone's guns." Well, congratulations. Now you pissed off all the hardcore gun control people.
Right.
So, like, there's, we even saw that with, like, Israel and Palestine as well. So, I'm not saying I like Donald, Mr. Joshua Halavka. I'm just saying that from, like, a fight standpoint, he's probably the one who did better in that regard.
Josh, hit him back.
Josh just
See-
wants to hang Christy.
Yeah.
I mean, first off, I'm an equal opportunity dick lender. So, I mean, if you qualify, there's a potential that dick could be lended to
Anyway.
you too. Digressing from all that, though, because that's
Don't you
not
cut
what's
him
important
off.
right now.
Don't you cut him off, Tim. That's not fair. You need to let him speak.
Yeah, I'm getting ABC'd over here, Rob. You see this shit?
I
So
see it.
first off,
I'm with you, Josh. I understand where you're coming from.
Trump won just for the fact he got under Kamala's skin. We all talked about it through this entire debate. Not once did Trump ever even look towards Kamala. Kamala constantly was looking over one of these, like what the fuck? She just the facial expressions didn't project as somebody who was winning, was somebody who was prepared or confident about all this shit. It just looked like somebody who was fucking like nervous and scared and kind of like not expecting this shit. On top of that, I don't disagree with Mitch that what Kamala said maybe turned off some of her like more like progressive lefty like base that maybe would have voted for it. But the reality is, Mitch, is that the people that was going to turn off were never going to vote for Kamala. These are the same people where Kamala doesn't go far enough. She's a fucking loser and a cuck to the fucking right. Like,
I mean, not always though. Like moms.
No, always.
Like,
the Moms Demand Action are a moderate fucking Moms Demand Action is a moderate fucking Democrat group. You are talking about far leftists right now and real progressives, Mitch. Not fake fucking goddamn fucking Obama level progressives. I'm talking real progressives. Stop getting cucked by those Michigan progressives who like loved Obamacare and sucking dick like you do.
Oh man. Oh man.
It's cut off.
It's cut off. I'm sorry. There you go.
That's a
Yes.
Is it American
I'm
Dog?
not white, but I'm not white, but yes.
It's
You're
crazy
an
how
honorary
that.
white.
It's crazy how that tweet is talking about the same people. You know, it's like and that's I don't see a different. Like I don't like them people are talking about them people talking about then they both talk about each
who
other.
are those people exactly?
Yeah.
Let's
No-
define those.
Oh, it doesn't matter. You don't have to define them because those people are the same people. That's what I'm saying.
They're
I
all
just don't-
one people, is what you're saying, Rob.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's segue in
Sexway,
into me.
right?
I think it's sexway into me. I am plenty drunk.
Yes.
And this podcast, you know, you guys underestimated the new Minute Maid Twisteds. These things. These
Rob,
things.
this isn't time for plugs.
Well, I feel like he's faking
Not
being
time for
drunk.
plugs.
Hey, you know what?
No,
Fuck
he is
you.
not.
Fuck you. We're monetized. We can get sponsored. If Minute Maid wants to sponsor this, that's Coca-Cola, baby. We get sponsored big time. Listen,
We take that Coke money. Okay.
listen. Yeah, we do.
That Coke
That would
money.
be some different Coke money for libertarians.
Dude, so I am gonna agree mostly right now with Josh and what he's saying. I think he is 100% right. I think Kamala is appealing to her base, and the base right now for the Democrats don't pay attention to anything. They're not into politics. They just kind of like deal in emotions mostly.
They just want to grill.
Their
Like-
only sale is that she's not Donald Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
And-
Yeah, they
literally
just want to
it.
grill.
yeah, and
No
like
one I know is enthusiastic about Kamala.
like I had a friend text me.
There's
and
no fuck yeah Kamala.
I had a friend text me and she was like, he's talking about immigrants eating pets. What the fuck? He's fucking retarded. And I'm like, well, immigrants are kind of eating pets right now. So that's kind of fucking crazy, right? Isn't it crazy that immigrants are eating pets right now? And then Trump was like, she's transing the immigrants. And then we were all like, okay, well, maybe she's got a point there. That's pretty crazy. So this was a wild debate, right, guys? Wild debate.
It was awesome.
All you know from this debate is you'd rather tune into this channel than ABC. That's all I'm saying. You're gonna get unbiased. You're gonna get. You know.
100%. We're 1,000% biased.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're
Either
biased.
way.
We're biased, but we're not biased towards either of these sides. We're at least gonna say, yeah, Trump kind of fucked up here. Kamala definitely like. So I'm just saying, like and subscribe to the podcast. Follow me, Arvin's and Comedy. Boom. There you go. That's it.
Are you trying to plug right now?
I already plugged. I butt plugged long ago.
We plugged into what?
We butt plugged long ago.
Yeah,
also, we should tune into Chase Oliver. To be fair, to plug the
somebody
libertarian
send me a
candidate.
live link and I'll pull it up. Yeah,
I'll find it.
I refuse to. Sorry.
There you go.
I just don't care. Like,
Well,
I really just don't give a shit.
It
That's
doesn't
the
matter if you
problem.
don't care. I don't care about this, but we still listen to it for 3 fucking hours. So fuck you.
That's fair. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do not give. I
Praise the Lord
care
for it.
more about the shit that we just wasted our 3 fucking hours on as compared to Chase Oliver. I really
Did you
just
waste it
don't
though? It was
care.
first of all, it was 2.5, 2:15 if you cut out the intro. You know,
We definitely didn't waste it.
And I'm
It's
gonna
definitely-
share this. I'm gonna share this real quick, Tim. If you can,
I'm ready.
do me a favor here, and add this to the page. I just want
Where
to point
is
this
it?
out. As a
okay,
member,
I got you.
as a member of the National Committee for the Libertarian Party,
The fuck am I looking at? You got to zoom in.
this is Chase Oliver's Facebook. He still has not accepted my friend request. And
Oh
that's
my
all
God.
I'm saying.
Big
That is all I'm
fucking
saying.
You're so That's because you're a shitty fucking person, Rob.
I'm like, this is a serious thing he's pulling up. No, it's not.
No,
This
it's
is worse.
Listen,
Well,
This
you know what?
fucking
Wait, you know what?
social
Fuck him
media
because,
stuff.
This is
because
the worst
no-
thing anyone in the Libertarian Party has ever done, bar none.
no, you know
I
what?
was-
Because no, you know
listen,
what? No,
I was look-
no.
no,
Let me say
I don't
something.
care.
Let me say
What?
Let me
Hurry
say
up,
something.
fast.
Because if he would have accepted it, I could have pulled up his debate really fucking quick. Because he didn't accept it, I don't know where his debate is. I can't pull
Twitter.
it up.
Yeah, I was going to say, he posted on his Twitter page. I was looking for a reason to pull this up again. Here it is. This is what we should do to Rob. I submit to the swamp a new punishment unlocked for the SwampCast.
Why me? I've been
Are you
so
ready?
good.
No.
I've been so
No,
good.
here it is. Here it is. It's not.
Is it paintball?
No, these are pepper spray paintballs.
Oh my god, that's awful.
No.
Oh, I don't give a fuck. You can do
All
that
in
to me.
favor?
Okay.
All
I'm
opposed?
gonna need to hear a
Nay.
reason.
Because you deserve it.
Okay, besides Tim, I'm the second most active member on this channel. I don't see why I deserve it.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a
Because you suck.
paintball war between us.
Because you're a
but we don't.
Cowboys fan. You absolutely deserve it, you fucking loser.
Here.
No,
how
we
about
already
this?
have enough fucking pain, man. Don't give us that too.
No, you gotta deserve more. I'm gonna while I'm shooting you with that thing, I'm gonna make you watch all your fucking Cowboys Super Bowl championships
go.
on VHS. And I'm gonna
Here
make
you
you sit and rewind each one of them too. Just to
Dude,
fuck
I already
with you
do
more.
that. I already do that every night.
I know you do. I get to watch mine on Blu-ray at least, though. It's
There's
beautiful.
things I could say about my Detroit Lions, but I don't want to jinx anything because.
Oh, you mean you've never had a Super Bowl? Yeah, we know.
We've
man.
never even been close.
I know. It's
My
tragic.
son, Joshua, my brother in Christ. I never thought we'd make it past the first round of the playoffs in my lifetime.
I know. Neither
You
did
have
I.
no idea.
Look, I never thought the Birds would secure Lombardi, but we did. Anything can happen,
saving a lot
Mitch.
of
You
money
just got to
from
believe in yourself and your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Look,
Because all things can be accomplished through God.
Look, we're gonna have to talk about this
Jot
next
that
week on
down
the
real quick.
podcast when I'm sober. But I am open and willing to negotiations on this thing. Whatever you want to do.
Paintball thing?
Yeah, because I'll do that. I'll do that.
You have regular paintballs?
I would rather do that than eating the Pocky chip. So if I do that, I'm out of the Pocky chip. How about that? I'll take the paintball.
I hear like five different
no.
things going on. I can't hear shit right now.
I cut it off.
He wants to take the pepper spray
Absolutely
paintball and call that equivalent to him taking the Pocky chip.
Yeah.
Denied.
Shoot me.
Nay.
Shoot me with that instead of the Pocky chip. I'll take that a million times over.
No.
Yeah.
Tim, whenever you're ready, I got our
Yeah.
presidential
No, you
nominee.
motherfuckers are eating
ready
the
to go.
goddamn
I'll load the whole
Your-
bag of that. All
your-
5 rounds in my face over the Pocky chip. 100%.
No.
Over the Pocky
100%.
Brandon's
the Pocky
on board
chip.
too. No.
I think I'm going to buy one, and I'm
I'm
just going
all
to shoot
in.
you anyway.
That's fine. I'm not doing the Pocky chip then. I'm all in on getting shot.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'll do Seaburn all over again. Like,
All right. We should probably get out of here. Rob wants us to share this this Chase Oliver thing. Do you want to see what they're saying?
He's got some background music going on, or is that you?
I
You're
do.
getting Dr.
I cut it
Pepper.
off. Here you go. Let's see. Yes, he
Maybe
is.
you're a kid that loves science and technology, and you want to go to a STEM school so you can focus on the area
He
of the
ties
study that you really think
the
you're going to be
tie
great at.
that big
Push yourself in
so
the
a
future as a
dick can
career.
fit in it.
You know, allowing that kind of free market of education actually empowers students and parents to make better choices. It also empowers educators.
Sponsored
I have a
by
lot of
Dr.
friends who are
Pepper.
teachers who got in the profession because they had a great teacher growing up.
I thought there was a debate.
And,
what the fuck is this
and then
shit?
they
Why
get
am I
the job
watching
in the
No,
this?
school
it's
system.
a
Like, oh my God, what
response.
is this?
It's a
All this
response
red
to the
tape and
debate.
curriculum crap that I
And
have
he's
to deal with. I
drinking.
could teach
If
it
you
so much
noticed,
better
he's
if I could do
drinking
X, Y, or Z.
good old fashioned
On a
Dr.
free market of
Pepper.
education, we allow those educators to
I
do
thank
that.
you,
They're still going to want.
Fastball.
Anyway, Jake, how you doing tonight? You want to plug some stuff so we can get out of here?
I can't remember anything that I need to plug at this point.
All right.
Just kidding. No, Cascade Effect. Go look it up.
There you go.
We launched October 1st. Is first episode drops. It's an investigatory podcast about police brutality, police crimes in Cascade County, Montana. Go look it up.
Goddamn.
Yeah, awesome, man. Hell yeah. Mara, we'll start at the top. Mara, you want to go?
I'm finally opening up some of those social media pages because I've accepted that the government is going to spy on me either way, so I might as well get some publicity out of it.
The only one we care about is your Grindr page.
If you want to see my political takes, at Nate Shoots HK, because of course I carry an HK.
Right.
Of course, if you just want to climb into that ass like Hassan, you can find me on Grindr at pegging only.
There you go. Josh, what's up?
I don't know if you saw the newest post and episode content, but we have a official fag of the day.
Okay, I'm going for it.
That is my plug. That is the only plug I care about.
Oh my
Everything
God.
else is useless except that. That is my only plug.
Smash.
Oh, I'm trying to pull it up.
All right.
I grabbed the wrong one.
Smash.
While he's pulling that up, just go check
I will
out.
take that pepper spray pistol over the Pocky chip. You can unload the whole mag in my fucking face.
My fellow people.
That was
of the
me. That was
swamp.
me. That was me.
My fellow people of the swamp, I will do everything to oppose the legislation to replace the Pocky chip with the pepper spray paintball. We here in the swamp deserve both.
Yes.
I rest my case, Your Honor. Anyway, go follow at Mitch Connor JLo and go check out 1776swag.com.
Mitch, you better be ready for when this show shuts off. That's all I'm gonna say.
Rob.
Yeah, man. First of all, I'm gonna say that I might start doing this every podcast. X won tonight. 102 live viewers on X versus a very little viewers on every other platform. So follow me everywhere, R. Vincent Comedy. If you like stand-up comedy, I got shows coming up in Pensacola, Florida, and Foley, Alabama on September 20th. So come check out my set. I'm funny. I'll make you piss and shit your pants. It is what it is. And then second of all, on this very channel, if you like college football, follow us at College Football Extravaganza on Mondays live. We're doing it live on Mondays every single week. Get your bets, your locks, everything from us, and have a good time, man. You know, college football sucks. Politics sucks. We're here to make it better. You know, you're losing money. We're here to make you some money. We're not financial advisors, but we're here to try to make you some money.
Good save. Good save.
Rob the lawyer, everybody.
He's made a really good save. Even I knew that.
Hey, we're trying, dude. Hey, you know what? I lost money last week, but now I know next week is going to be better because
it can't be worse because you have less money.
I've won money on my individual bets every single week, lost money on the parlays because I'm just looking for the big parlay, baby. I'm just looking for that big parlay.
All right, everybody. Be sure to follow us on Hex and everywhere else at Real SwampCast. Next week, we have a guest. I don't know which guest it's going to be because we got to sort it out, but we are going to have a guest. Jake, be sure to follow Jake at Jake the Green. And what was the other one that you had there? At something?
Cascade Effect MT, Montana.
Yeah, be sure to follow him there as well. And we will see you next Tuesday, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, Tim.
Yes, sir.
See ya.